Yo, what's poppin', everybody? Welcome back to the podcast, another episode of Caffeine and Green with your man, Connor Cardenas. And before we get into it, I just want to give a huge shout out to one of the main sponsors of Caffeine and Green, which is 7 Seas Roasting Company, coming straight out of San Diego, California. An amazing coffee roaster that I happen to work for. But other than that, I mean, the coffees that we're dealing with are coffees that are from Southeast Asia, from Vietnam, from Laos, from Mexico, all over the world, really. But we have amazing coffees coming out, and we have some new selections for you. So if you head over to the website, you're going to be seeing a new launch of a Lao coffee that we have coming out called the Non Kali. It has a little bit of dried mango flavor, a little bit of butter cookie, and some almond. I mean, it is fire if I've ever had some Laotian coffee. That's all I got to say about that one. And for all you decaffeinated woke people out there, I would definitely say decaf. I know. Believe it or not, decaf is finally available at 7 Seas. So if you've been wanting to try the coffee but haven't been able to because it's been a little too caffeinated for you, head over, pick up that decaf. And furthermore, if you go ahead and when you're at checkout, use code CANG, all one word, CANDG at checkout, you're going to get the deal 3 for $30. So you can get the non-Kali, you can get a bag of decaf, and then one of our other stapled coffees. Unfortunately, the charity roasts don't apply to this deal, but we have so many other coffees, you'll be able to get that. And that's a no-brainer because that's one bag of coffee for free. One bag of coffee is $16. If you get two of them, that's $32. 3 for $30, it's a no-brainer. So head over to the website, put in code CANG at checkout to get that deal. And the newest sponsor of Caffeine and Green, shout out to Thorn Street Brewery. It's a brewery here in San Diego on Thorn Street, and it's in North Park, and there's also one in Barrio Logan, but they basically have come aboard. I mean, they have amazing beers, a new one called Tread Lightly that is fantastic for all you healthy people out there. It's keto-friendly, gluten-free, but so shout out to the newest sponsor. Thank you again, and hopefully all y'all will start drinking that Thorn Street, you know what I'm saying? Shout out Dennis. All right, y'all. My guest today is a really good homie of mine. I mean, we've been homies for a hot minute, but when I've been trying to get him on the podcast for a little bit of time now, but I mean, the man is just so busy. He's crushing it, and we know we just got to link up those schedules, and finally it happened. My man, Andy Mauser. This dude is quite a talented individual. You can find his music on Spotify. I'm pretty sure in iTunes, but definitely on Spotify. He's worked with one of my homies, Sisflow, that you guys might know from the Flowmads. He has solo work. You can find him around PB or anywhere in San Diego, really, just crushing on his guitar, singing it up, playing tunes, whatever he needs to do. That's why I wanted to have him on the show. He's out there hustling. He's a full-time musician, and that's how he's making his living day in, day out, motivating, hustling, and still living his own life, living that best life, you feel me? So without further ado, my man, Andy Mauser. This your time to shine, homie. Let's go. Give me caffeine and green. It's your boy Connor. What's good? Good. Caffeine and green. And we are live.
Yes.
Andy Mauser. Welcome to Caffeine and Green, sir.
Thank you very much for having me.
Cheers.
Yeah, salud.
Salud. Shout out to Thorn Street Brewery. They're supplying today's New England style hazy IPA. What is this?
It's the Hopster Pot.
The Hopster Pot.
So it's one of my favorites that they do.
Dennis O'Connor.
That's right.
Yep. Shout out. Caffeine and Green alum.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Love that guy.
Dude, yes. I mean, I don't think I knew that you knew him or other. No, me and Dennis actually talked about that on the show. We're like Andy Mauser.
Yeah.
And that's what triggered you coming on the show.
Yeah. Because he was my tax guy like way back in the day when me and Hickman worked at Jack's together, like which was kind of the foundation of me living in San Diego back in 2006. But then when I came back from Northern California, I lived up there for a little while. I was his grow guy at Homebrewing Gardens before it turned into Thorn Brewing.
No way.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah.
And you told me about that.
Yeah. And we would literally just like at the end of the day, go grab just a bunch of like ingredients and go brew beer in the back. Like that's how like it kind of got.
Wait, so you were there in like the very first days of Thorn, like
before it was
Thorn was just
when it was a home brewing garden store. Yeah, because he sold home brewing supplies, and then like home gardening supplies for like hydroponic gardens and other
yeah.
things.
I was gonna say for the hydroponic garden
exactly.
part. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
Wow, dude. I think he might have told me it was you, but somehow your name did come up, and we're like, "What? Yeah. I fucking love Andy." He's like, "I fucking love Andy." Yeah,
yeah,
dude, that's sick.
He's a homie for sure.
Okay, before we get into like what you're doing out here, what you're doing for a living right now, which is another reason I wanted to have you on the show. I want to talk about, because we were right before the show started, we were talking about you are from Indiana.
Yeah.
So how did you make your way out here? Like, when did you come out here?
Like I claim Indiana and Kentucky both because I spent like equal amounts of time there.
In Kentucky as well?
Yeah, as a young kid, before I moved to Indiana, like almost 12 years in both spots. But
where were you born?
Chicago.
Oh, whoa.
It's like so Midwestern for sure. But essentially I was in Indiana, and I ended up flunking out of pretty much every college I would get into.
Oh, what?
And yeah, I spent 2 years at Purdue in their flight school.
In their what school?
Like commercial flight school.
Oh,
to be a pilot. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and it ended up not being for me.
Yeah.
And then went to IUPUI, which is like a state school. It's Indiana University and Purdue University have a joint campus in Indianapolis.
IUPU?
IUPUI. That wasn't for me.
IUPUI.
Went to another state school, Ivy Tech. That wasn't for me. So I started working in the restaurants and bartending.
Okay.
And did that for a while and realized, like, I always told myself, like, I don't want to die in Indiana, like this and that. So I was like, I always want to go to the West Coast. So it got to the point where we were just, growing up in the Midwest, if you don't have a lot of ambition, you'll kind of get pulled into the whole kind of like just, party, have fun. At one point you're going to have kids, this and that. But we were just like, I was working downtown as a bartender, and we'd go out after work, and then just end up partying.
Yeah.
Some of those nights we'd play through. But then it got to the point where I was like, what am I doing? Like, and I kind of felt like a failure just because I had went to a bunch of schools, wasted some of my parents' money, like a good amount of it, and didn't really have anything to show for it. And I was like, I got to get out of here and figure something out. And I'd always known that like I wanted to go west because I had an aunt growing up who lived in the mountains in the Rockies. But I was like, if I'm going to go west, I'm going to go west. So essentially threw a dart at a map, and it ended up in Seattle. So
you seriously threw a dart at a map?
Pretty much, yeah.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
Really?
And it
Is
was
that not exaggerated? That's legit?
It was at the point where I was like looking on a map, like where would I want to go?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, Seattle's got mountains, it's got oceans, I was like, why not? So I ended up I tricked my car out. Like I had this 88 Jetta, and I'm going to go into the story because it ties into it. But
please.
So I had this 88 Jetta, and I put new tires on it, new exhaust, satellite radio, new Yakima rack because I wanted to take my gear with me, this and that. And a month before I was leaving to go to Seattle from Indianapolis, I'm up at my buddy's place. We're having a little chili cook-off, and I come outside, and that car's gone. I got stolen.
No way.
Yeah, it got stolen. So essentially 2 nights later, I'm bartending at the Marriott in downtown Indianapolis. And it's like 11:07 p.m. There's a national championship game on. It's going into overtime, and I got 2 TVs on. Both of them are on the game. And I get a phone call at the lobby bar, and I was like, hello, lobby bar. And they're like, turn on channel 13, turn on channel 13. And I was like, who is this? They're like, turn on channel 13. And I'm pretty sure it was my friend Jonathan Bright. Like
he knew you were at work.
Yeah, but I turned on channel 13, and everybody at the bar is like, what are you doing? And there's a police chase going with my car.
Oh shit!
And I was like, that's my car.
So that's a sick ass car. Oh shit!
No, I was like, that's my car. I got stolen 2 days ago, and everybody at the bar was like, oh shit! So I end up like see it go through 2 sets of stop sticks, sparks just flying out from under it, and ended up being 2 teenagers that had rap sheets a mile long. So I never got any restitution off the car. I was moving to Seattle a month later. So I ended up moving to Seattle with just a backpack full of clothes, a bicycle, and a guitar.
Dude, they said sorry, like your car got stolen, nothing. Insurance, nothing.
It was liability on it because it had a lot of miles on it. Yeah, it was heavy. And then I had to pay to get it out of impound because it was still under my name. So I had to go get 4 tires and 2 wheels because they cracked 2 of the hubs just to get it out of impound, so they wouldn't charge me like $350 a day for it to be in there. So,
are you serious?
Yeah.
That's that bullshit right there.
It was like it was a life punch that like taught me the lesson of like there's always going to be life punches. You know, like shit like that is going to go down and there's nothing you can do. But, you know, you can sit there and be like, why me? Or be like, you know what? The wheels came off. We got to put them back on, you know, and then like, let's just move on. You know, like I had something happen the other day where I was driving out to see my sister in Colorado and I'm driving through Utah and I'm driving past this mowing crew that mows the middle of the highway. And,
what?
There's
like grass in the middle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're bush hog in the middle of the highway. And I just see this comet fly out from under the bush hog. And I was like, what the fuck? And
what the fuck is a comet?
Well, it was like a rock that was like flying in my car. It hit my windshield. And
you were legit
like,
a comet.
Yeah. Like this rock that came out from under the bush hog, threw it at my car, it hit my windshield and cracked it. And I was like, what? Damn it. And then I was just like sitting there looking at it. And I was like looking at the level of it as I'm driving. I was like, man, you know, if I would have been driving like 1/10 of a mile an hour faster, that thing could have come through my side window and hit me in the temple and killed me. Like that was an instant like reminder of like how
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, of like how finite life is and how we were like always like one step away from, you know.
Dude, this is the second time today I've been talking about this, bro.
Yeah.
I had we've totally kind of gone off a tangent about your story.
We'll go back to Seattle.
Yeah. This guy, Michael Scott, his name is Michael Scott. I don't know. Did you
Dunder
watch The
Mifflin?
Office? Yeah. I said that to him the first time I met him, and he's like, I do get that a lot. And it was kind of like that look, like, don't bring it up again kind of thing.
Parkour.
Yeah. Bro, he's tight as fuck, but we got onto this topic of conversation. I was like, bro, literally, you could die going across the street.
Yeah.
That fucking quick. It does not even matter.
It doesn't.
And it does, like, she said that his mother on her dying bed, she wanted Kentucky Fried Chicken. And she was like, but I probably won't see you tomorrow. Like, we're not going to see each other. And then he said he realized that he said, who knows? What if I were to die right before my own mother dies?
Right. It can happen.
He said to him that was like a life opening, like an eye-opening experience about life.
Totally.
And I was like, oh, that's gnarly.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, bro, you fucking that quick.
Yeah. It can happen to anybody at any time.
Dude.
Like, it could be health related. It could be a piano falling from the freaking sky.
Dude, I know. Fucking on the real. Just gotta, every day you wake up, it really is a blessing. Even
Dude,
I think about being super thankful for really bad days.
Yeah.
Honestly, at the end of the day, like, yeah, today fucking sucked. Especially when you're going through some shit.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, today fucking sucked, you know? And then you made it to the end of the day. You made it to be able to have beers with the homie right now. Like, dude, I think about that shit all the time. I control a fucking, like, basically like a really big oven that has a natural gas line. If I don't fucking be on it with this roaster, I'm 100%. Like, if this thing blows up, that's on me.
Miniature atom bomb.
Bro.
Yeah.
I think about that all the time, bro.
That's good that you do, because if you didn't, that would be the problem.
Dude, I'm on the real.
Just like, oh, I'm naively like sitting here and controlling natural gas, and I don't know what the hell's going on, but ooh, what's this thing?
Yeah. What's this button do?
Yeah, exactly. Homer Simpson.
Dude, you should see how fast I react when I fucking, like, when something goes wrong with the roaster. One time I didn't put it back together right, and the air, like the fan in the back, basically was like coming off, and it fucking hit the it's this
mechanical.
Yeah, this mechanical piece, and it fucking, the fan basically flew into this mechanical piece, and just like, and I was like, emergency shut off, boom, just like figure out. I'm like, oh fuck, and then I was freaking out in my head, and then it's like immediately like boom, 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 like taking it apart, fucking trying to like put nonstick on again, like boom, and then like put it back on like the, what is it called?
You only really do it once, though, you know?
Dude, oh yeah, once. Like, dude, every time after that now, bro, I look at it, I'm like,
measure twice, cut once.
Dude, I'm over here, like, I have like a long metal piece. I have like a Sharpie, and I'll put it right before I take the piece off. I'll mark it, and then I pull it back out, and then I put it same distance. Boom, we're good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Anyways, Seattle.
Yeah. So back to that. Just so I always said that I didn't want to die in the Midwest, and so ended up going to Seattle
after this crazy car chase.
Crazy month after the crazy car chase, and ended up cruising out there with my friend Karen, who I worked with. She ended up getting a job with the Seattle Supersonics. And
sick.
Yeah, so we ended up being roommates for a year, and I knew like 2 other people in town. That was pretty much it. I had an in at the Tiki Bob's there, which is like a bar down in Pioneer Square, because my friend Tracy,
Tiki Bob's.
Yeah, she was like running like their parent companies, like with their marketing or whatever. So it started as a bouncer there for like a month, and then started bartending there. And I was in Seattle for like 2.5 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Before I moved to San Diego.
How old were you when you did this?
24 when I moved there.
Nice.
Yeah, so I was 24. So I was there for 2.5 years. Met incredible people. And it was awesome like the first year and a half. And then it kind of got to the point where I was kind of turning into that introverted kind of Seattleite 9 months a year, where it's I never believed that like the climate depression or whatever was real. But it's literally like after seeing people in the rain for like 9 months, and those 3 months that it's sunny, they like will like hug you manically, you know, like they don't even know you and you're walking down the street. They're like, it's sunny. But then when it's rainy, it's like everybody's got their blinders on. And like nobody looks each other in the eye. Like whenever, like where I grew up, if you walk in through a door that you open, you turn around and you hold it for someone behind you.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, there they would like slip in through a door that's closing and not turn around and open it for you. And you're just like, oh man, fuck you.
That's so shady.
Yeah, but I was kind of like, in essence, becoming part of that, just that daily walk of life. And I was like, I need to figure something out. But something that I did figure out was that I love surfing up there.
Surfing?
Yeah.
Nice.
And what had happened was, like, once again, when I moved to Seattle, we were still partying pretty hard. You know, like working in the nightclubs, working late, drinking late, like partying late.
Yeah.
But I got to the point where it was like I was doing too much of that. Like, and one night got like bad.
Yeah.
And it was like did too much, and it was like, okay, like time to figure this out. But then I started surfing like there shortly thereafter, and because early on when I moved to Seattle, I went to go see my friend Chuck Scriven. Shout out Chuck, who actually he lives down here in San Diego now, but we went to elementary school together in Indiana. He was living in Honolulu, and he had a big old 10/8 longboard. He's like, here, dude, it's like, take this, go out, try. Caught the first wave I ever tried to paddle into, and then didn't catch one for like 3 days. It was so frustrating. But then it kind of like I caught the bug.
Yeah, dude. Fuck yeah.
And at Tiki Bob's, one day they were cleaning out like everything, and it was a tiki bar, so they had surfboards everywhere, and they had these old boards that they kind of threw out, and me and my buddy Woody like swooped a couple of them and then just like put them in his Winnebago out front, and then just were like, yeah, I guess these are ours now.
Sick.
And so we started going to the coast. And literally like just like I would have 2 days off. I had my first year and a half in Seattle, I didn't have a car, but then I got this little like 88 Honda Accord, like 250,000 miles on it, and I put a soft rack on the top, put these boards on the top, and just go to the coast and like sleep in my car. And then I befriended some people. Yeah. I befriended some of the surfboard shop owners in town. So we'd cruise out like with families and stuff, and we'd go stay on the beach and like trade like provisions with the Indians.
Provisions?
Yeah, with like surfboard wax and just whatever else we'd bring from town out to these reservations where we'd stay on.
There's
like,
reservations right there on the coast.
Yeah, like Nia Bay and La Push. Like I forget what the Indian tribes are called, but we would go up there and camp on the beach and go surf out there and stuff. But it got to the point where I was like, I've came down here a couple times to visit my buddy. He lived in PB. So it was like, I was like, I wouldn't have to drive 2.5 hours to get to the coast. I would drive like 12 blocks. Yeah. So I was like, this makes way more sense. So once
you're
again,
like, PBs would be tight.
Yeah. Well, like at 26, you're like, yeah, PB's great.
Dude,
you know,
PB at pretty much any age, like past 21, is pretty tight.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, I'm at the
30,
point now. Yeah, I lived there for like on and off for 13 years, and I just moved to OB, Ocean Beach, and it's from Pacific Beach for those of you that don't know. And it's like, it's way more my scene, dude. You know.
OB? Oh yeah.
Yeah,
dude.
just
OB's
because
so buttery,
I mean, and it's like it's way more sense of community and stuff. But moved down here in 2006 from Seattle, and once again like sold everything I owned, rented a minivan one way, put everything I could in there, and cruised down here, and then lived down here ever since then. And my first year here, I didn't have a car. So still just like took the bus to work and things. And
no way.
Yeah, going back to like working in La Jolla, living in PB, working at that place called Jack's, which was like this huge complex of 3 really nice restaurants and 5 bars under one roof. And
really, is
that's that's where me and Hickman, Michael Hickman, he's been on your show, my old roommate.
Fuck yeah, Michael Hickman is the fucking legend. Shout out to Michael Hickman
sir.
and
yes,
Jess.
Sir.
Jess Lentini, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Is that her last name?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out, Jess. What's up?
New Jersey.
Yep.
New Jersey.
Dude, they're both out there now.
They're doing good.
Hickman.
Yeah. That's right.
Fuck yeah.
He's getting surf, the hurricane surf. So.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah. But met some of my other just like lifelong, ever since I moved to San Diego friends there. And it was literally like, we all drank and partied there, and we all just had a blast. And the owner didn't necessarily have tabs on, everything that was going on. Like, he was buying cases of Jameson for the staff so they wouldn't drink the good stuff. But you had bartenders trading drinks with the kitchen for food, and like, I remember like you take quarts of beer back to the kitchen for the food runners, because they'd be just guzzling as hard as everybody else.
What the fuck?
Oh yeah, dude, it was a shit show.
Yes.
But then like, and we would travel in packs. Like, that was back when the Devastators played longboards every Sunday night, and you would have a line around the block. Yeah, the Devastators were a great reggae band around.
Oh, it's a reggae band. Okay.
Yeah, and it would just like, the place would just pop off. And like, still to this day, like, literally friends with so many of those people, and some of them have gone on to do like great things. Some of them have gone on to do their own things, and I mean, it's just like, to see the footprint that place left for all of us was great. And it's, a lot of us say that was like the best times of our lives. And I'll never say it was the best time, because you never know the best time is yet to come.
Of course. Yeah, dude.
But like, as far as just like friendship and everybody going to just like hang out and just I mean, it was like, it was, well, you can definitely say 4 years.
Yeah, it's one of the better times of your life.
Exactly.
Thus far.
Exactly.
But you don't even, dude. What if you honestly, like, some? Sorry, I didn't finish the idea there. That was a bunch of ideas. Mm-hmm. I mean, some people, like, people just assume you're gonna make it to like 80,
right,
70, like, 90, whatever.
Yeah.
And there ain't no guarantee. But dude, if the ride along the way, like, if you're in your 30s now,
yeah.
Who knows? Maybe in the 40s you're gonna like make it big, and you fucking
be
living hella fat. Just I'm about this $20 million house, yo.
And that's
cash.
relative. like it could be like, if that's whoever we're talking about, whatever their definition is of like living high on the hog, like
living high on the hog.
Yeah, like living good.
All right.
Like maybe you got a little house out in the mountains, and that's your idea of like, I got this little plot of land, like I'm good. Or if like, maybe you cut a song that's put on a movie, and like, that's where it's it's kind of crazy in my world of playing music is you never know who's going to be listening to your stuff. Like, I recently just signed a licensing deal with a group up in LA to like shop my songs for like movies and
really
for commercials and stuff. And I've had some other really, really good friends doing that as well. Shout out to my great friend SJ Jones for
SJ Jones.
Yeah, she's a badass.
She's tight.
Yeah, she's super badass. But she shops my music for like indie films and stuff.
Sick.
Yeah, but she's a music producer from South Africa. I met her like over a decade ago here. She's currently working on the Grey Days project, which is Chester Bennington's old band. They're taking like his old like all of his old reels and stuff. They stripped his vocals off of them, and they're putting like newer music to it. And like, one of the guys she's working with is Brian Welch from Korn, the guitarist from Korn.
Oh, sick.
And dude, like 3 weeks ago, she came down. She's like,
wasn't he called Head?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that's Head.
Oh, okay.
So like on Labor Day, she's like, you're my +1. We're gonna go network. So we literally like cruise down to Sleep Train. Like Head gets us guest passes. We're like backstage just kicking with everybody, and he takes us
from Korn.
Yeah,
sick.
He takes us on stage to the guitar tech spot for Alice in Chains set.
No way,
it's so
bro.
sick. But it was like a whole networking thing.
Wait. We're getting a little ahead of ourselves.
We are,
because you just jumped right into your music. But that's one of the other reasons I wanted to have you on the show. Go ahead, fucking rip into that. There you go. Boom. I'm good. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
We're passing beers.
You, sir, are a musician.
I'm a musician.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
And you do guitar.
I do guitar.
And you do vocals.
I do vocals.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's what you make a living doing.
It's what I do.
That's what you... Dude, I remember...
Yeah.
I've known you for quite some time. I think I've known you as long as I've known Leslie, so pretty much 10 years.
Yeah.
And, dude, when we first met, I'm going to tell everybody right now, it's because we were... I can't even... Dude, you got me too excited. Stop that. You like...
No, we have fun.
Oh my god! And for those of you who can't see it, it's like, dude, Andy just is like starting to drink a beer, and he just like got the biggest grin on his face. I couldn't even contain myself. he and I met. We were like we were at some function with some homies that there's not really like stoners and this crew of people.
It was just me and you.
Yeah,
bro.
and I don't know how we figured it out, but like it came to the point. It was like, dude, you smoke weed? And he's like, yeah. I got a joint. And it was like, oh, I got a pen. Like, and then from that point on,
you're my new best friend,
dude. It was like, dude, that's actually kind of how high was. Got blunt.
Yeah, got weed.
Got weed. Yes, but and every time we did it, it was like, oh, the stoners over there. Yeah, and that's how it's been for
family
life.
dinner. Yeah, dude. Shout out Jackie Borders.
Yep, shout out, dude.
Yeah.
And then Laura Hughes came in.
Exactly.
Dude, so it was, dude, I mean, it was always that. But then along that lines, I remember one time, I think was it at Katie Bush's wedding? Or no, it might have been at somebody else's wedding because you were like, dude, you want to go hear my album? It's in the, and you took me to your car. You played at somebody's.
Oh, it was Phil and KK's. Was it in Balboa?
Nah, bro, we were on like a ranch.
Oh, then it was Katie David and the one Maxwell Bush.
Okay, yeah,
where they had the giraffe.
Yeah.
The
fucking giraffe, dude. That
Stanley
thing
the
was,
Giraffe from Hangover 2.
Dude.
Shout out Stanley.
Dude, that's right. We went. There was like there was a
Bottle
camel
Rock
there
Ranch
too.
up in
Malibu.
Malibu, up in the mountains.
Okay, so we went out to your car. You played at their wedding.
I did.
Yeah. So right after you played, we went to your car and we smoked, and you were like, you started playing me tracks for your album, and you were all pumped. I was like, bro, this sounds fucking legit.
Yeah.
I even remember the day you told me you were going to quit your job and go full-time musician. Yeah. I was like, bro, are you serious?
Yeah.
I was like, are you scared?
It's scary. It was super scary. I mean, it's still scary. Like it's not an easy life, you know, but it's you're definitely your own boss, and I tell people that I'm kind of at the mercy of the universe. And just as far as I've been kept afloat by, you know, just learning the value of sometimes certain gigs may not pay, but they'll pay, but just not right away. You know, where it's like when I first started playing music full time, I was I'd been working in the restaurants for quite a bit down here and made good money, you know. Well, I guess after Jack's closed, I went up to Northern California and worked on the weed farms for a couple of years. And that kind of.
So you came back. You left and came back.
I left and came back.
Shit.
Yeah. So I did that for a while and came back, and then I hopped back kind of into society and worked at George's at the Cove for a year.
Ooh, nice.
It was great.
Nice.
And then from there, I ended up going to True Looks, which is a really nice seafood restaurant.
Yeah.
Went there for a year, and people make good money there.
You knew that's how you met Carl.
Exactly.
Right?
You know, Carl went to Jack's.
Did he work at Jack's too?
Yeah, back in the day.
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
dude, Carl's the shit, man.
Shout out Carl Lamb.
That's right. But after True Lux was where I quit to play music full time, and the piano player there, Archie Thompson, he's who produced my first album. And he was like, when I was working there, he's like, hey man, he's like, we should do an album. And I was like, cool. And after I quit working at True Lux, I ended up doing a couple of side jobs and got a little bit of money together. And I was like, hey man, let's do this album. So we did. That's where Matter, the first album, came from. Sick. Yeah. And you had Sis Flow from the Flow Mads on that album. Shout out. Yes, sir. Yes. But it that's when the full time started, and that's over 6 years ago is when I started playing full time. So damn, 6 years, bro. This ain't no pipe dream. Like, yo, bro, you're seasoned. Yeah, but I learn something new every day. Respect. Like Respect. Never stop learning. Like, fuck. What a legend, dude. Shout out. Just like that right there. That is why you're on Caffeine and Green, sir. 6 years as a musician. Yeah. Surviving. Yeah. Like my head's above water. And when I first got started, like super appreciative to Archie too. Like he ended up getting me a New Year's gig at Estancia that paid like $500 or something, where I was like, okay, like that's what the opportunity is, you know, to be able to do this. But from there, it's one of those things where you take like an 80% pay cut, like, or bigger, where it's like you start to reassess everything from my former life of showing up to a job and doing well and getting paid to, oh shit, I got to put food on my plate. Like, how am I going to do this? Bro. You got to hustle. And one of the big things I started to do was I got into playing the farmers markets. And they are only for tips. And sometimes I'd play the PB farmers market and I would be there for 5 hours. I might make $40. But I'd come home with like arms full of groceries of like local fruits and veggies, and 1,000 people would see me each time I play. People would grab my card, you know?
Yep. It's all marketing, bro.
It totally is. And I don't have a business degree. Like I said, I went to school to fly airplanes, and then, that shit just didn't work out. So it was literally like trial by fire, like jump in, learn as you go.
Well, you found out what you were good at, bro. That's,
The funny thing is, growing up, my old man always said that if you spent half as much time on your schoolwork as you did remembering song lyrics, you'd be an A+ student.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Yeah,
he's
but not wrong. But it's funny how now it's like the song lyrics are what make me money.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Damn.
So
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. So that's the irony of the whole situation. And it's one of those things where, still to this day, like I'm always learning something to do or something not to do. And a big thing that I really realized early on, and even in life too, is like if you pay attention to whatever it is you're doing or whatever's out there, there's free educations to be had all over the place.
Oh, dude, YouTube.
Either YouTube or like when I was washing boats in the harbor, I was still working at Jack's, but I had a second job. All my coworkers, a lot of them were like Mexican immigrants, Mm-hmm. So I'd be like, "Como se dice this? Como se dice that?" And even like cooks in the kitchen, like, "How do I say this? How do I say that?" Or just seeing what other people do in their profession, or if somebody's like, if somebody does what I do, but they're doing it way better than me, and I was like, "Oh man, like what can I pick up like off of that?" It's like if I'm at a concert somewhere or something, like I'm usually not dancing. I'm the one like lurking, like being like, what are they playing? Like, what kind of gear is that? Like.
Well, you're a musician though, too.
Exactly.
Though, so.
It's like, so it's always like being aware and just and being present in the fact of like, what can I learn from without having to go to a college and learn stuff that I don't want to learn. How can I streamline this and in essence, like kind of do, whether you like him or hate him, like that's kind of what Kanye did. Where he was, dude, like,
I love Kanye.
I do too.
I don't like him as a person, but his music is fucking so good. I love it,
bro. Like, I'm sorry if you don't like. If you think he's a douche, he kind of is. But like,
bro, you cannot tell me his first album, College Dropout, like almost every fucking track on that album is just so like
good. Yeah,
I watched All Falls Down last night.
Yeah,
dude. Oh, family. Dude, come on, son. Yeah. Dude, that is my favorite track on College Dropout. That and Through the Wire.
Yeah.
Because for me, when I first heard Through the Wire, and then I saw the music video on MTV Jams.
His jaw was wired shut.
His jaw was wired shut, and he's just spitting.
Dude, and
bro,
the first line, I drink a boost for breakfast and then
show up for dessert.
Somebody order pancakes, I just sip the
scissor.
Yeah. Yeah. That right there would make a sane man berserk. Yeah. So you're just like, when you realize
Through the Wire.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, yeah. It's just like,
fuck. I love that.
He got to the point where, and if you listen to like, what's the Last Call? Like the whole
with Jay-Z talking, fuck you, Kanye, first off.
Yeah, but like he talks after the song, he talks for like 11 minutes in the track.
Yeah.
Where he's like, he talks about his stories, like where he's like all of his pitfalls and stuff, where he's like, he kept getting chopped down. He just like,
his mama driving him, Kanye, wake up, baby, we here.
Yeah, to Newark, like, so like things like that. And those are the kind of things that I gotta remember, where it's like life ain't easy, but it's never easy. It's not easy for anybody. Some people have it easier than others. But if you truly want what is in your heart, or like what your quote unquote dreams and aspirations are, it's like you gotta be willing to work hard, and you gotta be willing to sacrifice a lot of other stuff too. Where it's like, you got to be willing to give up going out. You got to be willing to, sometimes it's not seeing your family for a while if you don't live close to them, or sacrificing relationships and things like that. There's been multiple times where I've had to cancel plans because a gig popped up, but it's like, that's how I make my money.
That's like, way more respectable though on the real. That's that hustle, bro.
It's the hustle. You gotta get it. And it's like the people that I've met along the way, and just the situations that I've found myself in, of just like being surrounded by just like, you're like, how the fuck did I get here? Or like one of my favorite stories to tell has to do with Highleat. It's an athletic leisure company.
What?
Kind of Highleat.
Highleat?
Highleat. Yeah, it's a company that's based out of Solana Beach.
Okay.
So one day I'm playing up at Saddle Bar in Solana Beach.
Sick.
Yeah, like love Saddle.
Yeah, Saddle Bar's a good one.
Yeah, dude. Shout out Garcia and
Dude, the
Weavers.
karaoke nights,
Dude,
hell of fun. There ain't nobody there. Oh, and you could just do whatever song you want, bro.
Oh yeah, they don't fuck. But one night, like early on, whenever I wouldn't have gigs on Friday, I would go call them up and be like, "Hey, can I come just play it for tips? You know, like come play." And one day I'm playing, and this guy comes up to me and he's like, "Hey man," he's like, "Do you know Babylon from David Gray?" And I was like, "Shit." I was like, "I don't know it," but I was like, "You're the third person this week like that's asked me if I knew that song." I was like, "Let me take a break. Let me go outside, look on my phone. If I can learn it," I was like, "I'll come back in and play it."
You can learn it that fast?
Well, if it's a song that like I've heard on the radio a bunch of times, like a lot of times the chord changes aren't that bad, you know? So I went outside and it was one of those songs. So I came back outside, or I came back from outside, came in, played it, like nailed it, like even all like just the big parts and stuff.
But you even knew the lyrics, or do you put your phone down with the lyrics going across?
I remember the lyrics. Like,
really?
For the most part. Yeah, because I just like knew that. Like I like that song.
Oh, okay.
And he came up and he tipped me like extraordinarily well, and he's like, "Dude, that was amazing." And so after I got done playing, I went over to talk to him, and his girlfriend was like, "You look good in our clothing," because I was wearing a V-neck T-shirt. I was like, "What's your clothing?" And they're like, "It's High Lead." And I was like, "Oh," I was like, I've kind of heard of you guys. Like I remember seeing one of my coaches at the gym I was going to at the time wear your gear. And he's like, "That's it." He's like, "You're our first sponsored musician." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, man." He goes, "I'm going to give you a friends and family discount, and I'm going to put some money into an account for you." He's like, get some V-necks so you can play in. And he's like, and get some shorts to work out in. So it's like huge shout out to Ron Wilson from High Lead, because he has been one of my biggest supporters and like,
damn, he's kicking you down clothes, like legit ass clothes.
I'm so fortunate, yeah.
And workout clothes too, because those are fucking expensive.
Well, and like I probably wear a piece of High Lead clothing every day.
That's legit.
And I mean, if I didn't have interactions and people like that believe in me, like I probably wouldn't be where I am today. So it's knowing that, like, going out and hustling and every time that I play, I'm in an audition for whoever's walking by. Because people are walking by, they're like, "Damn, who's this person?" You know, like, "Oh shit, we're getting married. Do you do weddings?" Fuck yeah, I do weddings. Like,
people ask you that?
They do, and that's like
what's up.
that's how I play weddings. You know, like I probably play like 10 weddings, 12 weddings a year.
Wow.
Yeah, and those are like weddings you can't mess up. You can't mess up, because like someone's walking down the aisle and that's their most special day they've ever lived.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like the pressure's on. So it's there's a certain amount of confidence that you have to acquire to be like, I have no choice. I have to do this. And that's a mantra that I had early on, because when I started playing music in front of people, I would have to get blacked out wasted just to be able to get up there, like put my head down, look at my hands on the guitar, and maybe like sing pretty soft, you know. But it got to the point where I didn't need as much booze. And then I got to the point where when I started playing full time, I quit drinking for 3 years because I couldn't afford to drink. It just wasn't.
And you're healthy.
It wasn't able to happen.
Yep.
And I was enjoying going to the gym at that point in time. And I didn't want to like sit there and wreck myself with a night of drinking and not be able to work out. So it got to the point where it was like, all right, well, you know, there's like just everything was kind of culminating in the fact as far as like starting to play music full time. And like I said, you gotta sit there and be able to be present and know that like people are always going to watch you. Mm-hmm. But you get to the point where it's like, you're like, oh shit, like you get butterflies, this and that. I developed this mantra. I was like, you have no choice. You got to get up there and play. It doesn't matter how many people are in front of you, who's in front of you. You got to do your best. And there's certain notes in certain songs that are absolutely scary. Like that part in Into the Mystic from Van Morrison, where he's just like big notes, or like there's some Lumineer songs where it's like my belly's full of air and I am like 2 to 3 feet off the microphone because I am on the verge of like screaming to hit these notes, but like with soul, with power, with passion.
Yeah.
And that's where it's like, I have no choice. Like that's my mantra. Like I got to get up there and do this.
But how many, you're saying you play sometimes for like 5 hours. I mean, with playing there and you're learning, you're practicing, you're learning things on the job.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that you actually practice as well. I'm imagining like you'll be at home playing. So do you play
Sometimes.
guitar? I mean, 20 hours a day or something like that?
No. I've been fortunate to be gigging out like quite a bit in the last 6 years. So a lot of times I might play the song if it's not an original, if it's a cover. I've got like just books in front of me of music that I print out, and I'll put it in there. And if it's at a place where it's like they really don't care what I'm playing, I'll try the song out. And sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. Sometimes I know right away, like, no, this song's not gonna work. But majority of the time is like I'm at the point now where it's like if I've heard the song a bunch of times, I can play it.
Can you play things like "Ain't Nothing But a G Thing" on your guitar?
Dude, Ain't No Fun If the Homies Can't Have None is one of my favorites.
Yeah. You could play that?
Yeah, and I'll like bust in like I'll start medleying the shit out of stuff and just like go into that. And if like there's definitely no kids around where it's like, but one of my favorites is like No Diggity into California Love.
You play that on a guitar and then rap it?
Yeah. Dude. Yeah.
Both verses, Dre and Tupac?
Just the Dre verse.
Just the Dre verse? Okay.
Because I'll go back, like a lot of times with that whole rhythm, I'll either start with No Diggity and go into California Love and back into No Diggity, or sometimes I'll start with like Ed Sheeran, Shape of You into No Diggity, into California Love, back into No Diggity.
Why not Pac's verse? Because
I haven't been able to get
fresh out of jail, California dreaming.
Yeah, I just haven't like. I need to learn that one.
Dude, do Pac's verse.
Yeah.
Dre's tight. But out on bail, fresh out of jail, California dreaming.
Yeah.
Oh, yo, that is just the fucking.
It's fire. It's fire.
Like,
yeah.
In your face.
That whole like Diego to the Bay thing and Dre's verse though is like.
It's all good from Diego to the Bay. Oh, dude,
Yeah.
are you fucking kidding me? Bro, when I moved to San Diego, that song took on a whole new meaning. When I've listened to that song so many times. Yeah. But then when I actually moved to San Diego, I was probably driving to East County somewhere.
Yeah.
And I was just, it's all good from Diego to the Bay.
And you're like,
son,
that's my life right now.
Yo.
Exactly. But it's and that kind of is a good segue into like what kind of music that I do play, and that all depends on who's in front of me.
Yeah.
Because that always.
Well, you can play anything.
But that's always changing, So it's like if I'm playing Barley Mash in downtown, or it's like in their lounge for gingers, like I might be playing Chainsmokers. I might be. Yeah.
So you'll do newer type shit as well.
Totally. It just depends on who's in front of me. But if I'm playing like Offshore Tavern in Bay Park, that's a bar that feels like home. It feels like it's like good normal people. Like it'd be like an Indiana bar, like to me like normal people. Dude, I play David Allan Coe. You don't even call me by my name or whatever. Just like some country ass shit, yeah. Dude. Like super Billy, bro. Like
what did you just say,
yeah,
Billy, bro?
Like hillbilly. Like it's some hillbilly music, but like it depends on who's in front of me. Is it our parents? Is it us? Because if it's our parents, like. Dude, Crosby, Stills, Nash. I love those guys. Neil Young.
Yep.
Love all that stuff.
Dude, I love Graham Nash.
Yeah.
Song for Beginners, his album. Oh my God,
yeah.
Dude, from like start to finish.
Yeah.
There's some bangers in there, bro.
Oh, yeah.
And there's songs in there
that whole era
that other people have definitely used or taken lyrics from. Yeah. And it trips me the fuck out. Dude, Better Days, track number 2 on Song for Beginners.
Yeah. Dude, and that's the kind of like that kind of music transcends generations, you know, and that's like my original music. That's the kind of music where I'm like the first album I put out, Matter. It's like people are like, dude, this is so good on a road trip, because they're like, there's a lot of times we won't realize where it started over. And I was like, dude, that's a huge compliment, Like I love road tripping, and it's
fuck yeah.
And for me, it's when we did that album, it was like making songs different, and the album didn't necessarily have a certain theme. And like that, and like some people don't even realize too, is like the song Matter in itself it started off of one of a friend of our friends was on the SEAL teams and he committed suicide. And
no,
yeah, but it was one of those things where it's like that's kind of how the song started. And then I found out that someone that was going to be hearing this song when it came out was having problems. And so that's the second half of the song, was like I wrote it because I knew that she was going to be hearing it. And it was like one of those things where it was like, hey, like, it doesn't have to be like this. Like you can always reach out, And so some people would get that from that song. Some wouldn't. Some would just hear a song. And then there's even a song on there about like, not to get political by any means, but there's a song on there called Destination Loneliness. And back in 2013, 2014, we had a migrant crisis of like 50,000 kids from Central America that were in warehouses here on the border who were sleeping on concrete floors with astronaut blankets because they were trying to figure out what to do with them, because there was a rule enacted by George Bush that said that if migrant minors cross the border, they have to be held for 6 months. So it was like, to me, that was so heavy, knowing that was happening within 20 miles of my house, where it was like, that's where the song Destination Loneliness came from. And it was just like the human aspect of it and everything. Yeah. So it was like being a songwriter. It's unfortunate to get to go out and play covers for a living that pay the bills, but writing songs is definitely a huge passion of mine. And sometimes, like, I've written my friends' wedding songs for them before, and that's like the best gift I could ever give. Yeah. Or if you give
them like a copy of the song,
totally,
or like send them a download or whatever.
Totally. And even like I wrote a song because of a friend's wedding. Like, I played their wedding. Shout out to Matt Eubank for this one.
Matt Eubank, shout out.
Yeah, because him and his wife got married at Temecula Creek Inn, and it was a beautiful ceremony. It was under this huge oak tree, and everybody's in kind of like natural colors that kind of blended in with the scenery, and it started to pour, and while they're doing their vows, and from where I was standing with like my gear, I couldn't see what was going on, but essentially someone had busted out this red umbrella, and he was holding it for her, and like he's getting poured on, but she's dry, and like I saw that picture after the wedding, I was like, dude, that's a great metaphor for like marriage, where it's like literally like this whole beautiful picture, and like this red umbrella stuck out like a sore thumb, but like here he is like standing in the rain and she's protected, and that's kind of how marriage should be, where it's like you're like, he's looking out for her, making sure that she's, like in my eyes, I guess, at least, but like that spawned a song. And that's where it's like, I've got an EP on iTunes and Spotify called Red Umbrella, and that's the title track. And that's kind of where it came from. But it's just like, it's hard for me sometimes to sit down and just like be like, all right, I'm just going to write about the raccoon on Thorn Beer or whatever,
Well,
but
just you need to be inspired. I mean, you're an artist.
So it's like there's, and it comes from all different places too. Like it's a lot of times news stories will trigger it, or friends that pass away trigger it, or relationships that I go in and out of definitely trigger it.
Dude.
Yeah.
Dude. Oh, this is interesting. Subject. So I have this friend who, she said that she has dated a couple of musicians and they've written songs about her. When she showed me these songs, she told me about these songs, and then I was like, yo, I gotta listen to these. And I listened to the song, and I was like, yo, this fool went hard on you. Like,
yeah,
it's like, damn. But then at the same time, it's like, how much of it's true?
And
that automatically makes me wonder, but as a musician, do you think you use your experiences to write a song, and somebody might even receive it in a negative way?
Sure, they could.
Yeah.
One of those, I have someone that's dear to my heart. I wrote a song about her, and it had to do with the life that she was currently living was one that like her parents kind of made out for her. They're like that she was living the life that they wanted her to live. And and that's actually the song called Little Bird, and it's on the EP as well. But she knew that she wanted to do other things in life, but she was at that point, she was kind of too, like, she was still really afraid of kind of what her parents, would do if she gave up the life that they wanted her to have to pursue her dreams and aspirations. And she's actually since done that.
Sick.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Totally.
Shout out to that homie for following your fucking ass. That's what it is. Like, yo, you fucking get it in your head, and dude, because like you can't deny like that what your heart's telling you.
Exactly.
On the real, when it comes to that, do your gut and your heart.
Because time does not stop, and you'll get to a point later in life where you're gonna be like, the saying, you can wish in one hand and shit in the other and see which fills up first. is very, very true. You know,
I've never heard that.
Yeah. So it's like you can literally sit there and like wish in one hand and you know, in the other, and like, you know, I could wish every day and every night for my life to change, but unless you're going to actively change it. And she did the same thing I did when I quit True Lux. Like literally, like she quit a teaching job and she's teaching yoga full time. Like she's teaching yoga full time instead of like being a middle school teacher. And
fuck it.
Yeah, but it's, you know, she's free of parents, you know, having to deal with parents and like other teachers, and just an hour and 20-minute commute every day each way, you know, like, and she's learning to live with way less, but she's, you know, she's at this current moment, she's way happier. And the thing is, she knows that she can go back if she ever gets to a point where it's like,
of course,
like you have that, you know, you have, and it's, so that's where it's like, I have written a song about someone like that. And, I was in a relationship earlier this year too, where it was with, hanging out with someone who I still care about dearly, but we, at this point in time, you know, it wasn't,
it wasn't meant to be.
Wasn't meant to be at the moment, you know, and, but like songs have been created from that too. And some of that's my outlet, you know, where it's like, that's,
well, yeah, dude, that's how you express yourself.
That's how, but on the flip though, is it's like every time I play that song, those feelings get resurrected. So it's like, you know, how do you, but it's all in like I was listening to Sturgill Simpson on Joe Rogan's podcast the other day. And
damn.
Yeah.
I feel like I should listen to that one.
It's a good one.
Who's
like,
Sturgill Simpson?
Sturgill, he's a country singer.
Is he a country singer?
But he's like, he sings songs about like DMT and shit. Like,
really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. He's like, he's not normal. He's not a normal country singer, like by any means. But he was like, Joe asked me, he's like, how do you write songs? And he's like, well, he's like, you know, he's like, I'm pretty much just a poet. He's like, so I'll just write poetry. And he's like, some people write the music first and then they put the song to it, or they put the words to it. He's like, I'll write the words out as poetry. And then he's like, you know, then you kind of phrase the music to match the words, and you know, you got to stretch whatever you need to here and there. And so there's many ways to do it. Like some people, and I listen too of like just to different musicians. Like a lot of times those that are on Joe's podcast about, like, cause he'll ask him like, how do you write the song? And a lot of people do it a lot of different ways, and I've done it different ways, you know. And for me, it's the process in itself it's always changing. Like I said, I'm always out there trying to learn more from somebody else. So sometimes I'll have lyrics down right away, or sometimes it starts with a loop that I started on the guitar, or like earlier this past year, I messed my MCL up training jiu-jitsu, and I couldn't train jiu-jitsu. I couldn't surf, I couldn't hike, and I couldn't do yoga, which are like my four things. What did you do?
Did you like sprain like a partial ACL?
No, partial like MCL tear. Like, so it's like I couldn't, like, instead of my knee going laterally inward is what would really hurt. So, but what I did was I picked up archery because I used to shoot bows growing up.
Sick. Do you shoot a compound?
Yeah.
Sick.
So I started
Hoyt?
A bear.
A bear.
Yeah.
Tight.
Bear wild. So I would go over to Morley Field and shoot, like, just loose a bunch of arrows. And then I started playing piano because those are things I could do to keep my mind busy. But I didn't have to use my knee.
Have you gone to performance archery?
Yes.
Up in Sereno Valley?
Yes.
Yeah, that place is pretty tight.
Yeah.
They're indoor fucking.
Yeah.
Son.
Yeah, it's
so
cool.
G.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Dude, when you shoot the bow and it fucking. Mm-hmm. Dude, Leslie got a fucking bullseye.
Yeah.
It took her like 3 shots. She was really good. She's like a Cagnus Evergreen.
Yeah.
Bow.
So she probably grew up shooting pigs in Hawaii though.
Nah, she said she didn't ever go hunting.
Oh man.
Yeah.
We gotta go do that.
Dude, I'm down.
Yeah.
I'm fucking down.
Shoot some pigs on Big Island.
Sorry. Totally digress. But yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, but that where it's like living in San Diego, we got a lot of distractions here because there's always so much going on. Like there's always something to do. If the surf's good, I usually drop everything to go surf. So it's.
But you're your own boss, so you can do that.
Right. But then that also takes away from times that I could be writing music, you know, and trying to progress and things like that. So, it's something as I get older, it's like I find myself having to focus more on you know, creating new music, essentially, because I can't rest on what I've already done. That's not how this life works.
No, you got to keep going, bro.
Yeah,
Period.
you have to, like, and it's one of those things that I'm thankful and grateful for where I'm at, but I'm not finished. Like, I'm not done.
Yeah, no.
You know, it's and finding new angles and to create, finding new people to play for, and that even means like maybe going out on tour. And I'm at the point now where it's like I'm super grateful to play covers and stuff, but I want to play originals more.
Yeah.
I had an awesome gig that my roommate, she set me up with. It was for a group called SD Collective, the San Diego Collective, and it's like a networking group. They all get together, and their founder Stacy, she throws parties, and they had me in to play one of their bonfire parties.
Bonfire parties.
Yeah, it was supposed to be down
at the beach.
Yeah, it was supposed to be down on Mission Bay, down at Crown Point. They have all the fire pits, but that was the weekend that the Thunderboats were going, so they had to move it up to Kate Sessions, which ended up being amazing because she set up all these lights and stuff, and they had a stage and things up there. And literally, like, it was one of the coolest moments where I got to play with the whole city. Like, Kate Sessions, if you guys don't know,
Kate Sessions was the shit back in the day.
It's a park that, like, it's elevated up on Mount Soledad. In the background is like you can see Mexico in the distance. You can see past downtown. You can see the Coronado Bridge. Yep. You can see all the way down Point Loma. So at nighttime, it's like they have a little stage set up, and that's my whole backdrop. And I got to play original music. So literally, like, I was playing original tunes, and the feedback was super good. Tight. And I've even seen people, like, out in town, people have come up, they're like, dude, that set was awesome. I'll be like, wait, where? What? And they're like, dude, Kate Sessions. And I was like, oh, man, like, Tight. I needed to hear that, you know, like, thank you. Like, that's motivation to keep going.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
In that direction. So, and as of right now, like, I got a whole album's worth of stuff to record that I want to start doing soon. So it's like 12 to 14 more songs.
That's what's up. New album.
Exactly.
Tight. 2020 drop.
2020 drop.
There we go.
Yeah. So, and that's where it's, you know, working hard towards that.
All right.
And just keep those songs going, and just, you know, just remain grounded and be forever grateful, and to know that, you know, like we talked earlier about how, like, it, like, all this can end tomorrow.
Dude, it really can, bro.
For all of us, you know, like, so take the chance, you know, today. Don't sit there and wait and think that the world's going to give it to you.
Bro, I honestly, can I be like
100%
real with you right now? I've had, as of recently, like, some things happen in my life and just other things that I've gone through. And it just, like, bro, it was like the biggest fucking kick in the face.
Yeah.
Honesty. I'm not even lying. Like, I don't know if I was, like, believing in my own self, thinking, like, oh, like, I'm doing this podcast, I'm fucking working at the coffee shop, I'm doing these things. And I think, like, yo, I'm actually, like, kind of hustling. And then something happens, and it's like, cool, bam!
Yeah.
Like, yo, you ain't doing shit. Like, yo, bro, you're not where you need to be. You gotta, like, you kind of, it's kind of like you're fucking up right now. And it might not be, like, fucking up to somebody else, but to me, I'm like, yo, no, I'm not where I need to be.
Optimal.
You need to, like, jump on it, and you need to make it happen right now. Because honestly, dude, at the end of all that, on top of all of that, I'm not even that old. I mean, like, I'm older, but I'm not like super old. And I feel like I'm running out of time.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know if I'm running out of time in the sense that, like, maybe I know naturally that I'm going to die soon.
Right.
Or is it, yo, bro, it's just a realization that life is so finite.
It's finite.
It's like, yo, dude, I remember high school. Like, I remember certain moments in high school. Like, it was yesterday.
Sure.
And now I'm, like, in my 30s.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, shit. Like, bro.
Yeah.
We're running out of time.
Oh, yeah.
We need to get some shit popping.
It's, I've been having those thoughts a lot lately because in April, I'll be 40. So it's.
No way.
Yeah. So it's like, for me, it's like, it looks awesome on paper that I played music full time, this and that. But I've also got to remember, like, I was kind of feeling that pressure not too long ago.
Yep.
And someone gave me a quote that was a good one. And it's like, because, I mean, every day I still compare myself to someone else that does what I do. And I'm like, oh my God, dude, that person's like so much better than me. Or like that
dude,
person.
Why do you
like
compare yourself,
that
bro?
They have way more going on. But then someone told me, they're like, hey man, they're like, you can't compare yourselves to other people. You can only compare yourself to yourself yesterday. And whether or not you've gotten better or you've gotten worse. Like that's what it's all about, you know, because everybody started at a different point in their life to wherever they're at right now. Like some people started with more, some people started with less. Some people have worked harder than you. Some
100%.
People have gotten a lot more given to them than you, but that's
or they have a cushion.
Yeah, that's not yours to control.
Nah.
Like that's kind of the thing where it's like you just gotta stay positive, and there's gonna be peaks and valleys. Like there's gonna be. Like,
dude, my G, you gotta listen to this though. Comparison is the thief of joy.
It is.
That I think
Franklin
D. Roosevelt, like Franklin Roosevelt said that shit. I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what he said.
Franklin D.
Roosevelt. Yeah. No, I'm fucking president of the United States, bro. Yeah. That's what it's like. Yeah. Comparison is the thief of joy. It's so true. Like
it's the killer of creativity.
But I mean, I'm guilty of it too. I mean, there's things that have gone on in my life where I look at other people and they have kind of what I think I wanted or I might want, and I'm like, why don't I have that?
Right.
There's some shit. But then at the end of the day, it's like, bro, it's gonna happen when it's gonna happen.
Right.
And that's all it is. But I mean, it's kind of like The Secret. People I think about it, I envision it, I do this, but it's like some people think that if I think about it and wish it into existence, it's going to happen. Bro, you need to think about it as a goal and then envision it and feel it and do all these things. But at the same time, you're grinding, just getting after it every single day. It doesn't matter if you are working, if you're fucking working out, every single thing that you do has to be with intention.
Yeah.
There's no other way.
Right.
If you're going to survive, you have to do it that way. I'm going to hit the gym. I'm going to get like at least an hour and a half, 2 hours in.
Right.
I'm going to work. I'm going to make some paper. I'm going to do something that I'm passionate about. I'm going to get some, you know, if it's going to get paper, whatever. But if it's something like this where we're doing podcasting, drinking beers, having fun, like this is something I'm doing as a passion project. And then I'm going to go work out and do these things. And then you have to keep going. Mm-hmm. Bro, that's why I fuck with you. I think the fact that you're out here doing that, and it's just so inspiring because, dude, you're living in San Diego. You're not living in Indiana. No. You're not living in Kentucky. No. And no hate on any of the people. No. I have listeners there.
Yeah.
Shout out to every single one of you motherfuckers. All love. Yes.
Totally.
Shout out Indiana and Kentucky.
Good people.
All of them.
Yeah.
But you're in San Diego, bro. You're living. You're doing it. You're hustling. And that's that... You know,
and I feel super fortunate that to fallen into this here, because never in my life before I started doing this, or even a couple of years before, would I've been like, oh, you're a full-time musician, or it's like,
that's gangster.
I still don't even really like consider myself one. When people are like, what do you do? I was like, I play music. And they're like, so you're a musician? I was like, yeah, I guess you could say that, you know, because I never knew what I envisioned myself being, because this was never really on the radar. And even growing up, like I always had such stage fright. Like I would never audition for solos in the choir, things like that.
Never audition for them, or you
no,
would?
Never.
Oh,
like I would be in like big choirs of like 40 people. We'd be singing like 4-part harmonies, but I would
like
never.
Catholic or Christian?
No, just in high school.
Oh.
Like and then like middle school and stuff. Like I was super fortunate that the public school that I went to, where they had really good sports programs, they had really good music programs. Like the funding and the budget hadn't been cut for those. So that's kind of where. But the funny thing was, like, singing, I never knew that I had like a big voice, like where it's like I can push a lot of air. And like looking back on it, I always wondered, like, where did you get that from? Because I never sang like that in high school in the choir or anything. And it wasn't until like I moved down here to San Diego and I was singing harmony in my buddy's band, playing mandolin, that.
You can play the mandolin?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you play Going to California by Led Zeppelin?
Yeah, I play that on the guitar and sing that
that's
one.
The fucking best song.
Totally.
Ever.
Totally. It's a good one. But growing up, I would always have to mow the lawn, and it was back in the day when we had the Walkman with the big plastic headphones, you know. And I would crank them up as high as I could, but I would never really be able to hear myself, so I would just like sing like super loud. And the neighbors probably like a mile away could hear me because I was singing so loud. But like when I learned how to channel like that part of my lungs and blow like that much air, where it's like if you ever see me play live, like hitting those notes, those are the ones where I'm like back off the mic like 2 and 3 feet. Like I didn't know I had that until, you know, up until like probably like a year or two before I started playing full time, because I had a couple bands down here that were like 7-piece funk bands and stuff, and like.
Oh, you get funky?
Used to.
Oh, what?
Yeah. And
Why,
like
you don't get funky no more?
Well, dude, like having a full time band in this town with that many
You never
cats,
stop being funky.
It's like, well, no,
Come
it's
on
like
now.
herding cats, dude. Like if you got full time players in your band, like to keep them fed, and whoever they got to feed fed, you got to be touring, you know.
Oh, well, yeah.
And that's also learning how to like be a front man and like learning the aspect of the music business and stuff.
Dude, I love funk though. Can we just talk about not the business side of it? Can we just go into some funk music?
Yeah.
Bro, what you fuck with? Give me some funk. Like what you like. What is like if you had a top 3 funk songs?
Oh, I don't even know. Like, cause it was a cover band, and it was.
No, I'm just saying in general. Like, what do you like to listen to?
It's usually not funk. That's just what.
No, I'm saying if you had 3 top funk songs, what would your top 3 funk songs be? Like, are you like Parliament?
I love Parliament.
Like maybe some Isaac Hayes.
Isaac Hayes is badass. Yeah.
Or fucking who's funky? Oh, the Double Dutch Bus. Like,
see, because that's not even like really like my genre growing up, but that's where it was like when I had this band together, that was letting the reins go and being like, all right, let's play like Curtis Mayfield. It was like, we do some Curtis Mayfield.
Do you do on the dock or the bay or whatever?
Otis Redding.
Oh, that's Otis Redding. Fuck.
Yeah, that's all good.
Sorry,
that's all good.
Stupid. God damn it. Sorry.
Oh, no worries. No, we were doing Freddie's Dead, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Things like that. But then that was also where I like let the reins go in the band, where I'd be like, all right, what are some of the songs that you guys want to cover? You know, I'm not gonna sit there and be like the creative like Vice to be like, this is what we're playing, you know, blah blah blah. Where it's like, when you got a band together, it's if someone's ego is controlling everything, it's like that's gonna inhibit what you can do, you know. So that's another thing with creative like with original music. I might write a song and have it completely what I want in my head, but when I get it together with other people, it may morph into something else, and I got to be okay with that. You know, I can't be like 100% like, no, it has to be this way, blah blah blah. You know, it's like if I'm doing that, I might inhibit someone else's creativity that might add to the, you know, something I never even thought of. And I do have the ability to get a band together here for certain gigs if I want. There's players in town who I love. Shout out to Dale Peters, who's going through some shit right now. He's in chemo for some cancer. He's my drummer, but he's doing good. He's on the up and up. But he played drums on the last 6-song EP that I did.
Dude, shout out to that homie. Get better, G.
Dude, hell yeah, Dale. Dude, we love you, brother.
Fuck yeah, positive vibes.
But between him and then my producer, Jeremy Miller, who is like, he produced the last EP, love him to death. He has been pivotal in my career as well, just as far as just being a great friend. And he's a keys player, and he's a producer and a sound engineer. He runs the open mic at PB Cantina. He has for like the last 6 years.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, dude, he's great. He's a legend. He's a great friend. And then TJ Moss played bass on the last EP I did, and TJ is a phenomenal friend. He's used to be with the band called the Yes Team. Met those guys out here. They cruised out from New York City one night, and we've been friends ever since. And that was like 6 or 7 years ago. And that's another thing. Like, you never know who you're gonna meet in the music world, just because of like I started playing guitar because I wanted to be able to play guitar on the campfire, and like ever since that's all I wanted to do.
How old were you?
20. So
20. Oh, you started pretty late.
Yeah, I started late.
Shit.
I started late. So,
but you picked it up fast.
Well, it took me 2 years to be able to sing and play at the same time. So at 22, I was able like to start kind of singing. But I know I have friends that are really good singers, and they were playing and singing in like 5 months. So it just kind of depends on that whole practice thing. Practice makes permanent. And people come up, they're like, oh my God, they're like, and this happens to a lot of us. It's like, it must be like a God-given talent to do that. And you're like, no, it's practice. It's literally like people, when people see us out playing, whoever, myself or other of my colleagues in town that do what I do, or any kind of musician, they're like, oh, you must have some kind of like hidden talent, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, like a lot of times we've just put the work in to sit there and fail in front of people multiple times, to train wreck songs, to not let our ego get the best of us, and to go back and try again.
Dude, I'm so glad you touched on that. I have to admit something. I have to put it out there because bro, I entered my first roasting competition.
I saw that.
Do you want to guess what I placed?
It doesn't matter.
Dude, no, guess.
Did you learn?
I learned.
Awesome.
Oh, I learned, but guess.
Not first.
What is the other half of that saying? If you ain't first, you're last. I got fucking dead last.
That's okay.
I was so livid, bro, and talk about like just taking an L. Like,
dude,
God damn it. I know. And it hasn't happened in so long. And I remember it was the first competition that I entered that compared to skateboarding competitions were physical ability. And even when I was playing baseball for like 2/4 of my life, 2/3 of my life at that point in my life, I'm used to physical exertion to the point where it's like if you do a competition, you're mentally drained, you're physically drained, and then you're good for the rest of the day. Right. Using a piece of like a product and something that I do every day, and then you just go and drop it off, and then you do a presentation, and then it's done, and then you're out in the middle of nowhere, can't do anything, and I'm just in a hotel room waiting to go to this thing from like 10:30 to 1 p.m. the next day.
And there's human judges, right?
Yeah, it's human judges.
So it's subjective.
It's super subjective.
Yeah.
But to talk about failing, I haven't failed like that in a really long time. And I felt it was when you said that right there, bro, it honestly, it's super humbling. Not that I was like super arrogant about my coffee in the first place, but it's super humbling to know that, you know, it's like a comparison. It's the Ink Master of coffee, right? You know, you have this a very limited amount of coffee. You don't get to work with it and develop it and really know what works with it. You get this limited amount, and then you have to turn it in, submit it, talk about it, do these things. To get dead last in something again, it fucking pissed me off so gnarly. And I honestly, all I want to do, it's like, nope, I'm going to fucking win. Like, all I have to do is like, dude, you already had the worst possible thing that could have happened. Yeah. Happened.
Exactly.
You got dead last. You only can go up from here. So it's like, even if the next one I do, which is in Nashville in January, come and holler at your boy in Nashville.
Hot chicken.
Yep. Oh, dude, I'm going to Hattie B's. Like, yo, I know now how these competitions work, and I only have to be there for like a 2-hour window. Yeah. That leaves 22 more hours in the day to go get some Hattie B's hot chicken.
What did you learn from this one that you're going to take to next one?
Bro, I know exactly how I'm going to do my presentation now. I'm going to get super scientific with it, and I'm also going to make it look good and just take the things that were good about my presentation, apply those, and then adjust the other ones. And then also, as of now, every barista and person who works at 7 Seas will be developing their SCA descriptors of the flavor wheel, and everybody's going to get really good at it, and they're going to be able to describe to it. It's like, okay, I got ripped apart. Like, not verbally. Yeah. It was like by a person who's a professional, and they do this for a living. Right. And they fucking they were so
it's
brutally
free
honest.
Education.
Yeah. And I had to sit there and take it, and the guy was like, you said this, you said that. The coffee wasn't that. I didn't get that. It was bitter. It was this. It was that. And it was like, oh, yeah, heavy. Yeah. Like, yo, you're going to fuck it just like, all right. Okay, cool. Yeah. How can I improve? And they're like, you need to do the full, I cup every single one of my batches, and I cup all the time in general. Yeah. He's like, you should really think about cupping every one of your batches and developing your sensory skills.
Cupping means tasting every batch.
Yeah, tasting every batch, but then also cupping all of my batches like a couple days after, like a day or 2 days after. And I was dude, I don't think I've ever taken something so hard to the heart. It was crazy because, dude, I already do that. Mm-hmm. And to have these judges who don't know me, which is fine, to say that, like, you need to develop your sensory, I was like, yo, I'm not doing a good enough job then. I took that as, I'm not good enough. I need to be better. And so now my whole entire team, like, my whole job is coffee and flavors. Well, dude, that means if I'm not doing it, that means that they're not equipped. I need to do better.
Shit rolls downhill.
Yo.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's you know, your ego is getting the best of you for a quick second. And then all of a sudden you're like, holy shit, no, it's like literally it goes back to like the free education of like these guys have been at this a lot longer than I have. They're judges for a reason. You also got to remember that it is subjective. So it's like you might on one day, maybe that source designate bean wasn't your bean to work with. You know, you may be better with Guatemalan and it came from Indonesia or like Ethiopia, like things like that.
Brazil. Yeah.
So,
but I fuck with Brazil. I'm so pissed.
But but that's the thing. Like even in jiu-jitsu, where it's like you learn to leave the ego at the door.
Yep.
You know, and like shout out to Rado Jiu-Jitsu, Rafael Dalina. It's like
you're
my
that shirt
brother.
Right there.
Yeah, like I love those guys in that community. Like they're all my brothers and sisters, but they have taught me so much about my ego and how it's like you leave it at the door because there's always going to be someone better than you, and
100%,
it's going to be unassuming,
bro.
and it's how you can take that into your daily life and be like, okay, like I might get all hot and bothered and like puffed up and just like, oh, like you don't know what you're talking about, this and that. Then, or you could take a step back and be like, you know what, like you did. You're like, I'm going to take this to heart. I'm going to learn how to become better because of this. And you're not gonna in essence, as a musician, you train wreck to set. That's
train wreck to set.
Yeah, like,
what does that mean?
Like that means like you had a set, you went up to play in front of somebody and you played it bad.
You bombed.
Okay. You know, like, but rather than like sell your guitar and go into another profession, you're gonna be like, no, like I'm gonna look at that, see what I did wrong, and what can I do better, like, which is huge as a business person. As the head roaster of an awesome coffee company, I've had your coffee. It's great.
Thank you.
So
I appreciate that.
Absolutely. It's subjective. So it's one of those things where...
Well, I've had time to develop those coffees too. So
of course, dude. I used to come see you at Zoom Bar.
Dude, yeah.
You know?
Shout out. That's
exactly,
what's up.
Exactly. I'd go down to Cherno Valley. Come
my
see you down
G.
there. Exactly.
I fuck with you, Andy. Such a G.
But it's like... It's one of those things where you can sit there, you can let it ruin your day and alter the course of your life, or you can let it humble you a little bit and you can learn from it and you can go on and you can that's how the best have gotten better.
Dude, I love it though. I love it. Now as I'm thinking about, I mean, yeah, I'm pissed off, but it's not pissed off like fuck them. It's pissed off like you fucking like I've talked about this multiple times on the podcast. I talk shit to myself a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Well, you're your own worst critic.
Dude,
I'm my own worst critic.
But I talk shit. Like, if I talk shit to another human being like this, people be like, dude, you're fucked up. But it's because it's me. I know what I can take, and it motivates me. And, I mean, I won't get into it because it's some dark shit. But, like, dude, every time I've ever gotten really bad, like, I remember one of the first skate competitions I ever skated, I took, like, last place. Mm-hmm. And then it only got better from there because I learned, like, yo, you need to do better. And that's physical ability. Right. This, bro, I got so mad. I fucking started reading a book. Like highlighter, like boom, boom, boom. Like, go.
Yeah, it was motivation.
Dude, it's so
it was motivating. Unforeseen motivation that you didn't know you needed until it was right there in your face. And like I said, you could have taken it many different ways. But you were able to harness it and be like, all right, this is where my craft needs to go. And
and my team needs to be there too.
Right.
My homies need to come up with me. So like as a person who's leading not only just this coffee shop, I take it so to the point where it's like if I'm the only person that you're looking to for this, I have to be the best version of myself so you guys can have it.
'Cause shit rolls downhill.
And
they are your brand ambassadors. Anybody that's selling your coffee needs to be educated on it because they're representing you, they're representing your owners, they're representing the cup of coffee itself.
Yep.
And not only that, like you have to look at it as you're educating people that might go off and do this on their own, and they might be your competitor one day. So it's
I hope though, because they could always be like, yo, what's up? Like, yo, I learned from this dude and he taught me what I knew.
Exactly.
Dude, I don't give a fuck. Go ahead, start a business right down the street from me. At the end of the day, I fuck with that. I think that's sick.
I'll come try your coffee.
Yo, I'll come and fuck with your coffee.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, dude, there's the thing about coffee specifically is that there's a lot of pretentious people as well. And I'm not trying to talk shit. That's just real.
Can we get into the $35 cup of coffee
dude.
at Bird Rock?
I mean, I'm not going to say no names. You're the guest. So I do have like.
I get it.
I fuck with Bird Rock, but.
I get it.
Oh, I said it.
I get
Stoops.
it. No, it's okay.
Fuck.
No, it's okay. Because early on, before I know they went through an ownership change. I didn't like.
No, they sold it. I mean, for the people who like just make an easy name, it's like, yeah, they sold out.
Right.
But fuck it, dude. Like,
no, yeah, dude. That's
whatever,
that's what Ballast
bro.
Point did for beer.
Get your
That's
paper, boo boo.
That's what St. Archer did. But honestly, I like their coffee after they sold more than before.
See,
I personally did.
I fuck with all of it, honestly.
Yeah.
I didn't think I kind of agree with where you're at because I didn't really fuck with it as much before they sold, and I mean like because Bird Rock and James,
I did.
You fucked with it more.
Yeah, because I was living in PB and we'd always surf. Actually, I surf Bird Rock today.
Oh,
actually,
the original one in Bird Rock. Yeah,
Bird Rock.
That one like, I never went. I've never been there.
So it's always super crowded. It's kind of bougie. But like I would go get a cup of coffee there after because like literally like I said, I surfed Bird today with one other person. And it was good. I know this podcast won't come out like right away, so
I mean, I can edit tonight, bro.
Yeah, if you want, but I won't be there tomorrow. They're saying Anna's coming. We're gonna surf the beach, but I just remember their coffee feeling like really green, like under roasted. And then
underdeveloped.
I remember after a point I went back there and I had heard they had sold, and I was like, all right, this is a way more like developed, like complex cup of coffee. And to go back to the whole $35 cup of coffee, what it is. Jason Mraz, yeah, on his farm in North County, San Diego. Yeah, it's like I think Fallbrook it was an old avocado farm or something. But they're doing a really cool thing. Is they planted a bunch of coffee up there, and this was literally like the first harvestable harvest where they could roast beans, and they have a limited amount of this batch of coffee.
It's a geisha.
It's a geisha.
Yeah.
And you can get a cup of it, but it's $35. So it's kind of one of those things. It's early on. Hopefully it'll get to a point where.
See, bro, can I tell you about this real quick?
Yeah.
Can I tell you about this? Because hearing you talk about it,
as a consumer,
that's the point.
Right.
You don't really. I mean, like, and this is not to be rude. I'm not trying to be pretentious. This is like from a coffee person. You don't really know coffee. You are the consumer.
Right.
This is the person that they're trying to reach right now.
Right.
Okay. Geisha. Does that ring any sort of bells to you?
Isn't that a blend though?
No. See, okay, so a geisha is a single origin coffee. Now, the way I've compared it in my life, and just from what I've seen, for anybody who's a coffee person listening, please don't butcher me on this. I'm just sharing my opinion.
Yeah, I like single origin coffee. Like
it's amazing. That's what I work with for most of the point. I only have a couple blends at 7 Seas, so come through, holla, come taste it.
That's right.
Yeah, but Panama grows the geisha. That's where a lot of it was grown, and that's in my opinion. I mean, like you can grow a geisha in Mexico, you can grow a geisha anywhere.
Yeah, I love Indonesian. Like at home right now, I have East Timor.
Yeah, well, that's Sumatra,
right?
Or you can get Java or any of those. But this geisha was originated basically down in Panama, and from what I've seen, in my like little opinion, it's like, for lack of a better term, I like to call it the little sweet spot. Right. On the planet where this specific country can grow this amazing coffee and it tastes
Appellation
so fucking good, bro. It's unreal.
Yeah.
It doesn't taste like coffee at all, and it's so fucking good. It has body, it has sweetness. It's just like, for people who can't see what I'm like, mwah, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, that's what it is.
Now, do you think that latitudinally, since we're latitudinally, because we're a lot further away from the equator?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like that bean probably took a different characteristic growing in San Diego versus in Panama.
Okay, it's again with you, bro. This is the second time I've had this conversation today. No bullshit. I've had this conversation earlier about the Mraz thing. I don't know where they're fucking with, so I don't know the terroir that's in the ground there.
Right.
But like, bro, you got to think about what's in that soil, and the fact that most of the coffee on the planet is grown around the equator. Right. Unless you're Mexico. Mexico has a lot of shade-grown coffee.
Yeah. And State of Jalisco.
Dude, it's fucking tastes amazing.
Yeah,
and then you get closer to the equator, closer to like Guatemala, all these things, and that like the El Jaguar is from Chiapas.
Yeah.
And it's a Siltepec, but it's closer to the fucking equator, so of course it can grow like that. The thing about California that like doesn't make us really equipped to grow great coffee is the fact that we're farther away from the equator.
Right.
And you got to think about the shit that's in the ground. It's a lot like wine. It's the terroir, bro. Right. That's what I'm saying. That's just my own opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Dude,
I haven't tried it. I don't know if I'm going to go drop $35 on that. That's some groceries.
Dude, we could go get 4 people together and like you each get a nice little sip.
I'm fucking
like,
down for that actually. I'll fuck with that. I'll fuck with that hard.
Yeah.
We'll make a little field trip out of it.
Yeah, let's do that. It's
like
research.
$35, like jeez. But okay, so that was my point. Is that the thing about the geisha?
Yeah.
Because it's from where it is and how it tastes. A lot of that, when you get a geisha, they have the most expensive. Dude, like a pound of geisha is like $100.
So it's like way more than Kona.
A geisha, yeah.
Or
the
like
Kona wishes.
Jamaican Blue Mountain.
A Kona coffee wishes it could be a fucking geisha.
Okay.
Jamaica Blue Mountain, same thing.
Yeah.
I like Jamaican Blue Mountain coffee
Yeah.
because it's $20. People think because it costs so much, it tastes better.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think what it is that the fact it's like Hawaii. It comes from an island.
Right. It's supply and demand.
And well, no. Dude, you can't just get that coffee from out there. You gotta like the processing out there and then get it from there and then getting it to the mainland United States. The fact that you have to ship it makes it cost a little bit more.
Right.
Jamaican Blue Mountain coffee is great. It's great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not throwing shade. But compared to a geisha, nah.
Okay.
Yeah. They honestly don't even sell geishas in like full 1 pounds. A lot of it's like half pound.
How would you? What preparation would you do for that? Like a pour over or
A geisha?
Yeah. Like what?
Bro, I've had. It doesn't even matter.
Really?
Like, I went one of my first certifications for the SCA Foundations, which is like the coffee kind of, I don't know, guild, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what you want to call it. It's the Specialty Coffee Association.
Awesome.
They do certifications, and the first certification that you have to take before you take any other pathway, they call it, or whatever whatever it is now, you have to do SCA Foundations.
Yeah.
Which is like coffee 101, if you will.
Yeah.
About how it's grown, good ways to brew it, tasting, cuppings, things like this, but like in-depth specialty coffee.
Right.
And so I took that, and the place that I went was Boot Coffee in San Rafael.
Okay.
And this dude Marcus and Willem Boot, and they basically Willem Boot owns, I believe, some coffee farms down in Panama. So he has geisha farms exclusively.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And bro, when we went in the first day, they had like 3 batch brews. Just like a Cambro. You know what a Cambro is? Like you just like pop it and it like fills your coffee up real fast.
Yep.
All geishas.
So they did
on
drip.
batch brew. Yeah. Drip, bro.
Whoa.
Geisha. And it was the best fucking coffee, bro. Wow. I swear to God, I was drinking. I was like, wait, you said it's a geisha? And he's like, yeah. And I drank it. I was,
yeah.
And they were giving it these little like demi-glace
like
glasses.
A first growth Bordeaux, like
bro,
from the wine world.
I was tripping balls.
Yeah.
I fucking just kept going back. But then I've had it on pour over, and it's amazing. Pour over is amazing. I mean,
I pour over every morning.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Do you have a V60?
I have it's like the Bunton, they're like carafe or whatever. Forget what it's called. It's not a Chemex and it's not a V60.
Okay.
But it's like I've wet my filter, measure my grounds.
I love Chemexes.
Yeah.
I honestly do.
My question to you is, I don't have the side vent, that a Chemex has.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'll get like the percolation because it's just air letting go. So I get like a richer brew that way versus
Then you should definitely. That's called a bloom.
Well, no, not the initial not the initial pour, just wetting the grounds.
Okay.
And but literally where my filter will be so tight in the carafe that it's it's like bloop.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay, so what I will say, for example, for a Chemex, dude, the sickest shit I've ever seen in my life, and it just happened. Dude, this last month for me has been an eye-opening experience in coffee. I've been in coffee for 5 years now.
Yeah.
Coming up on 5 years. I apologize. Coming up on 5 years. And, maybe in 4 years. Fuck, I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
But we were on this boat out to Catalina.
Yeah.
My homegirl, Liav, we were making Chemexes on the boat on the way out there.
Yeah.
And when we got on the boat, I told her, I was like, yo, it's going to be chill on the way out there. Because the way out there last time we went out to Catalina, the boat ride on the way out there was chill. But the boat ride back was tough, where the boat was just rocking super gnarly.
Yeah.
Bro, we're supposed to be making... Yeah. Bro, we're making Chemexes, yeah? We got 2 Chemexes, and we're fucking going.
God.
And it gets to a point where we can't make both.
Right, because you got to hold on to one.
Essentially.
Yeah.
And Leov is making them at one point, and it's me. I'm just like basically getting the coffee, and I'll pour it out for people. But
you really were on the 7 Cs.
Dude, we really are on the 7 Cs. But the way, you know how a Chemex looks, so
yeah.
it has that V60 pour. It's a really big pour over.
Yeah.
So it's pretty, you get the channeling where the coffee grounds will like stay at the top, and then it goes down, and there's another level, etc. I look over, Leov makes this pour over, and it's, dude, the fucking bed of the coffee grounds is perfectly flat. There's nothing had been channeling. She did it, and she was like, dude, all I did was let it sit, and because the boat was rocking, it created a natural immersion, like a shaking immersion.
Yeah.
So it settled perfectly. And I was like, this
How
is
was that cup of coffee?
Fuck, dude, they were so good.
So think about that for like, that could be your $1 million idea of like having a Chemex on like a rocker or something that just like, you know, that naturally just kind of rocks it to sleep, you know, because like personally, like when I make my pour overs, you know, it's like after the next, I'll pour it up and let it go down, and then I knock it all off the sides, you know.
Yeah.
And that's how I do it. That's how I've always done it. But it's like, since that's my method, that's how I measure all of the coffee that I have as far as like taste, profile, everything, and this and that. And shout out to BV Roastery, Buena Vista Roastery in Colorado. I get beans from there quite a bit. It's a high altitude roasted coffee in the little town my sister lives in. They roasted 8,000 feet.
Damn.
Yeah.
What's that taste like?
It's great.
Is
like
it
I dig it. I'll bring you some.
What, do you know what kind of roaster they're roasting on?
I don't. Like I could hit them up. Yeah. I can hit them up. But it's since we've all got like, I feel like if you're like a not just like a drip coffee maker drinker in the morning, but if you have your process, you know, whatever, if it's V60, if it's Chemex, if it's French press, whatever it is, like you get to the point where the process stays the same. The only variable that changes is the actual bean, the origin of the bean, the roast of the bean, you know, like,
well, I mean, if you want to get a little bit nerdy about it, you could be like, well, how much you're putting the water at for temperature, and if it's a dark roasted bean, and then if it's a light roasted bean,
those are variables, you know,
super variables.
And another thing too is like I don't have a scale at home, so I just know how many seconds through my water filter that I have to pour to go in the pot.
That's
to
fine.
Like for it to be like the same, you know. So the process never changes. It's the variables that change are the beans themselves.
Oh, 100%.
You know, so it's like no matter like however you're drinking your coffee, like that's where I love to experiment.
Did you have like a SOP for your coffee every morning, a standard operating procedure?
Oh, absolutely, geek out. And like I know that like sometimes if it's like early, if I'm going to surf or do something, or like I like to go hike mountains. Like that's what I like to do. Like 14ers are like
bro, you be fucking hiking some shit lately. I've been following you on Instagram.
Yeah,
I see you.
Yeah, I've been nailing some 14ers. 14ers are
what does that mean?
Peaks that are above 14,000 feet.
Whoa.
So
you have a hard time breathing up there?
My motto is break early, break often. So it's like you hike slow enough that you like to acclimate, and then I like to get up to altitude and camp the night before so I can help acclimate. But I know if it's in the morning and then I'm making coffee, I'll take my coffee grinder into my bathroom on the other side of the apartment so that my roommate can't hear me, and I'll wrap towels around it because it's like.
Dude, no, you know what you should get, bro? You should get the hand grinder. It takes a little bit more time, but like, yo, it gets it to a perfect. Like, unless you're making like batch brew, but you're saying you make pour over.
Yeah.
Dude, get the hand grinder.
Okay.
Hand grinder's way better.
See, I learned something new today.
I'm just saying. Or those things. The only reason
I'll pulse them and I'll shake them.
Well, the thing about that is those specific grinders. Mm-hmm. I'll show you my grinder after we're done with this. But the grinder that I have would be way more ideal. The thing about it is that if with those, like when the blades heat up.
Oh, so it kind of pre-roasts
super fucking fast. So it heats up the bean.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that it like will fuck up the taste of your coffee.
Gotcha.
I mean, honestly, if you're used to it,
yeah.
I'm being a stickler right now.
No, it's okay.
But if you
That's
want like
what
a
this is
way
the
better
knowledge that
taste,
you need to know.
bro, you just get that hand grinder, boom,
Yeah.
boom, 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 boom. You do it right there, and then it's all G.
I'm not opposed to that at all.
I think you'd fuck with it hard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dude, I totally would do that.
I think you'd be especially, dude, you take that shit on one of your hikes, bro.
Yeah.
You don't even need no power. Hand grind it, boom. I mean, well, you need power to probably get your the water heated up, but you get that hand grinder, boom.
I would probably, and then this is like blasphemous for coffee drinkers, but it's like there's a way that just like pre-grinding it and put in it, like make a little tea bag out of it so that you wouldn't need. But I got a buddy who roasts in Mission Gorge.
Yeah.
His handles Traveler Coffee. His name's Dan. Like, good dude. I just played his opening not too long ago. And,
Sick.
And he's got like little travel pouches.
My G,
that are
I
ready
got
for
some
you.
pouches. I got them from Coffee Fest.
Sweet.
I haven't tried them yet, but they were a company. I'm sorry, I don't know your name.
Hopefully it's Traveler, because that's what Dan does that.
He gave me. They were like, bro, just take them with you. Like, you can just. It's a tea bag.
That's what these are.
And they fucking were like, yeah, pour your coffee and you just leave it on there and it'll be good.
That's what these are. And he said, he even told me, he goes, dude, he goes, honestly, he goes, you can use them twice, and people say that the second cup of coffee is better.
I'm gonna trip out if that's what they are, because I fucking remember the guy who I was talking to when he gave it to me.
He's a bicycle rider.
I don't remember what he looks like, but I remember that he was like, dude, you can use them twice.
I bet it's Dan. Dude. Yeah. Dude, super good dude. Traveler
Coffee. I have them in my bag. Yeah. I have like 4 or 5 of them, and I have not used them.
Is it a black pouch with like green neon writing? You know,
they're actually like really light colored. They're like light blue, light yellow, like kind of like a paste, like a pastel.
The pouches?
Yeah. Okay. No, the bags that the pouches are
I haven't opened okay.
I'll show them to you.
Yeah.
Well, off the air.
But yeah, no, but that's like, as far as like if you're backpacking and things, those are the kind of shortcuts you need to take so that you don't have to take extra weight with you.
Have you fucked with the AeroPress yet?
No.
Bro, you need to get down on the AeroPress.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a travel espresso maker, essentially.
I've heard of them.
Yeah, bro. And it makes a minute 30.
Okay.
To fucking brew your batch, and then if you have the tea kettle, the gooseneck kettle or whatever, how to heat your shit up.
Yeah.
Just pour the water in to make it, and you make it like a little Americano.
That's pretty cool,
bro. It's legit, or like super fast. I love
and dude, there's
AeroPress.
nothing better than like, I don't know, like this one peak I did earlier this year. It's Mount Langley, and it's 14,042 feet, but it's 3 south of Mount Whitney in the Sierras in California. And I got chewed by mosquitoes on the way out there, dude. I got like bit like 40 or 50 times, and backpacked in, camped at this place called Cottonwood Lakes, and then went and got the summit the next day.
You do that shit solo?
Yeah.
Damn.
Came all the way back down.
Do you worry about wildlife, or do you bring a gun?
No. When I'm in Colorado, I got 2 in Colorado a few weeks ago. I got Mount Elbert, which is the tallest peak in Colorado, and then Mount Yale, which are all near my sister's house where she lives. I had bear spray with me, but there were people with sidearms on them on the hike.
You don't keep no sidearm?
No. Like, it's like I got guns, but they're in Indiana. Like, I don't need them out here. I don't.
But like, what happened if a fucking bear did run up on you, bro? Do you think spray is gonna stop them?
They say it's supposed to, but honestly, it's discerning the fact of letting it know that you're not prey. And exactly, like if you see a bear in the distance, let it know you're there, so you're not startling it. And if it's a mother with cubs and it hasn't seen you, stay downwind from it and turn around. If it has seen you, don't run away because you immediately become prey. But don't like just talk softly. Like I've seen bears in the wild, but never had a big confrontation with them. And there's always a funny saying that I'll never forget. People are like, they always say if you see a bear climb a tree,
hell no, that bitch will climb that tree so fast.
Black bears climb the tree so fast, but they're like, the black bear will climb the tree and get you, and then the grizzly bear will just knock the tree down.
Yeah, fuck all that noise.
Yeah, so it's all in your response. If you startle the bear, or if it's got cubs. But then if you, like I said, if you see one in the distance, you let them know you're there, because they usually aren't stoked with humans.
Nah, fuck no.
And
they probably know. They're like, these fucking humans, they suck, bro. Right. They're over us.
And it's just like, know your surroundings. Know that even if I'm hiking alone, I'm still not going to be completely silent.
How do you sleep at night when you're out there?
Lightly.
Do you pop like a tent?
Yeah. Or on some nights I'll sleep under the stars. Like if I know there's no rain in the forecast and the bugs aren't bad, just throw a sleeping pad on the ground. And that's why it's like so pivotal and so important to have a bear canister with you if you're out camping where there are bear and you're by yourself.
What is a bear canister?
So a bear canister is like it's like a plastic canister that is bear proof, and you put all your food in there. Anything that smells like food, toothpaste, any of your like dehydrated food, anything like, and you take that and you put that like 100 yards away from your camp. So that way the bear's not going to be inclined to, like, if it comes and smells a human, it's going to smell a human. Whereas if it smells like, like beef stroganoff or like whatever your meal is, or dried fruit or toothpaste even, like they're going to be way more inclined to check out what's going on. Those are the kind of things that you got to be aware of when you're in bear country. And it's also like, even hiking by yourself, it's just being confident in your abilities, and that if the hike's gotten too steep or if it's gotten too dangerous, that it's okay to turn around. Like if you see a storm coming in and you're up on a peak and you're 20 30 yards from the peak, dude, that's a really, really humbling thing and a very egoless thing to turn around rather than for glory try to go up and touch that top of that mountain and get struck by lightning. Because that shit happens.
Because you're like, you're the closest thing there,
You're the closest thing to the tallest area around, and you're on the tallest mountains.
And you probably have some metal on you.
In the country. Even if there's no metal on you, you're still tall. And you're gonna conduct electricity. And that's the first thing that lightning's gonna go for, is the tallest point.
Yikes.
They say even if you're on that point with a bunch of people, you all gotta spread out. Because if someone gets struck, there has to be someone else there to help you out, which is gnarly and morbid to think.
That's
but it's
so fucked up, but like so funny at the same time. It's like, oh shit, son.
But like also, like these hikes they're part of what I do to help myself mentally, with like my mental health. And it's like I think a lot, and there's sometimes where I just need to clear my head.
Yeah.
And some of these hikes are anywhere from, they're usually no less than 10 miles. But some of them are 20, 22, 23 miles in a day. Some of them have like 10,000 feet of gain to them. So it's very mental. You want to quit. Like you want to turn around. Your body and your mind are giving you like running a marathon. Your mind is giving you all these reasons to stop. Like, I could stop. I could do this. But you keep going. You keep persevering. And each time you do them...
But that's life. That's like a metaphor for life. You keep going.
Exactly.
You fucking have to keep... you're hiking a mountain. You're running a marathon.
You have to.
You fucking do whatever. You have to keep going, bro.
And it's just one foot in front of the other. That's all it is.
Straight up.
Like, don't worry about, like, all our friends that have gone through the buds and the SEAL teams. Like, we've got some mutual friends that are just all around American fucking badasses.
See?
And that's the whole motto and the whole buds process is make it to the next meal. And I take, like, I've never been in the military, but I take that with me unto like those hikes I do. It's like, just make it to this next point, like this and that.
Bruh, if you're breathing, you're winning.
Exactly.
I don't give a fuck. Like, how much money you got in the bank? All right, cool, whatever. Yeah. You're breathing. You're winning.
Dude, can I segue into something else that's like was very humbling for me, and that kind of has to do with that as well. Just as far as like what I've learned on these long hikes and stuff, just about perseverance and everything else.
My G, I have to pee so bad.
Do your thing.
Can you hold the conversation down?
Oh yeah. Yeah. So while Kano's doing his thing, so essentially a couple of years ago, I got involved by accident with a group called One More Wave. That is it's a nonprofit that makes surfboards for vets of our military that need some ocean therapy for whatever they're going through, whether it be PTSD, traumatic brain injury. They may have physical problems. They may have, problems with their mental health. But what it is was a few years ago, I was playing a music event, and a guy by the name of Alex started out One More Wave, and I was talking to him, and he had this organization that he created to do these things, and fast forward to today, One More Wave has like helped tons of veterans, and I'm so fortunate and so lucky to help out with this crew. and we get to take veterans surfing for their ocean therapy. We get to, well, no matter what their level is, we give them whatever tools they need to get in the water, whether it be a longboard, whether it be a board for them that they've been surfing for a long time if they've never surfed before. Maybe some of them will never go in the open ocean. They just may want a stand-up paddleboard. Maybe they just want a body surf. Maybe they just want a belly board. Whatever they want to do, and you can go to onemorewave.net and donate, because 100% of the proceeds from all donations go towards building boards for veterans, and it's a great organization. Some of the best things I've ever seen and the most humbling things I've ever seen were because of this organization. And to tell a quick story, one day we were down at come on back, buddy. But I was just talking about One More Wave, which is it's an organization that we build surfboards for veterans that need them.
Sick.
And one day, it was early on, kind of when One More Wave was getting started, they had a rider show up. His name was Dan Knosson. And Dan was commander of SEAL Team 1. And
SEAL Team 1?
Yep.
Damn, OG.
OG, definitely.
OG.
And he stepped on an IED and lost both of his legs above the knee.
Fuck.
So, but you know what?
But, dude.
Well, like when he came to in his hospital bed, he had someone hang a sign on his door that said, like, if you're going to come in and tell me how sorry you am, this and that, like, just turn the fuck around.
Yep.
Like, he's like, that's not what I'm about.
Straight up.
So Dan showed up one day. It was me, Micah Shanahan, who's one of the main shapers for One More Wave, who you know, Micah.
Fuck yeah, I know Micah.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, fucking
really?
Shout out to Micah Shanahan, Addict Surfboards. Yeah,
shout out, Micah. What's good, G?
He's the man. So me, him, our buddy Alex, who started One More Wave, we were there with our other buddy Chris, who is a Marine Corps veteran who is missing one leg, and he's got his service dog Sophie. He was the first rider for One More Wave. We're there, and Dan shows up, and he hops out of the car, and we're like, oh fuck, like, all right. And we're all sitting at Scripps Pier, and it's like 4 foot and closed out, so it's like the waves aren't really that good there. And
yeah, they're
and that.
baby.
And there's a comp going on, so we would have kind of had to like go off to the side. And Dan's like, he's like, dude, can we go surf Black's Beach? And we're like,
yep.
Fuck, man. Like for those of you that don't know, Black's isn't an easy place to get to. There's a road you can take to get down there, but there's also some cliffs that you can climb down.
You gotta hike.
You gotta hike.
Yep.
And Dan's, with his like bionic legs, he walks fine, but he's without his legs, he's an amputee above both knees. So we're like, well, and he like chimed in. He's like, hey, he's like, I surfed Natural Bridges like last week with a buddy, which is a right hand break up in Santa Cruz. It's gnarly. He's like, we surfed it. It was like 8 to 10 foot. We're like, fuck, bro.
So he gets down.
We're like, bro,
we're fucks with it.
Yeah, we're like, we're going to Black's. Like, so what we had one of the beach wheelchairs that you take adaptive surfers out on that have the big tires that are super spongy that you can roll across sand on easily.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So
Are you serious?
Oh yeah. But what we did was we took that to Black's. So we went down the road at Black's, which is like a half mile long. It kind of snakes down through this canyon, and we put Dan in the wheelchair. We put all our boards on top of him, and we took a toe strap with us, and we wheeled him down to Black's.
That's good.
Yeah, and we pushed him all the way up to the north end of the beach. There's like 3 peaks at Black's, and Dan doesn't have. For those of you guys that don't surf, like duck diving is the way you get out when you're trying to get out from the beach to the wave itself. You have to actually duck under the waves that are coming at you. And since Dan doesn't have the lower extremities on his legs, he's not really able to push down on the back of the bottom of the board to execute a duck dive. Yeah. So he was having a lot of problems getting out, and it took him like 45 minutes to get out. And this dude's freaking yoked. Like, he's actually also like a 2 or 3 time Olympic Paralympian gold medalist.
What a G.
Dude,
straight G.
Dude,
we need to get him on the show.
Bro. Oh, dude, let's get
him on the show.
He's an awesome human. Very humble human. But so he made it out one time and got pushed in. And for those of you that don't know, like Black's Beach is also, it's a canyon fed beach. So right off the coast of Black's Beach, there's a canyon like that goes to 2,000 feet deep, that comes up to really shallow water really quick. So what happens is that pulls in open ocean swell. So it'll be like normal sets coming in, like 6 foot surf, and then all of a sudden there's like 12-foot waves like 100 yards out the back, and you're just like, everybody gets mauled, everybody just gets buried. So
but at Black's also, it's like a shoulder though, so you can actually go around the wave.
Well, so what we did was we decided to take Dan to the south end of the beach, and Micah paddled out with him. And he ended up catching one of these canyon sets in. And we saw 3 broken boards that day. And people on the beach are they're like, what the, who the fuck is this Superman?
Yeah.
Like this guy, he surfs kind of prone. Like he surfs, like he has prosthetics that go on that make his legs as long as your knees would be without having anything under him. So he kind of surfs on all fours. And he took off on one of these really big waves and like pin dropped to the bottom of it, got worked, made it back out, and then caught one all the way from the far outside all the way to the beach. And people are like reevaluating their lives, like watching this going on.
Yeah, because you have no fucking excuse, bro. This fool has no legs.
Excuse.
And he's fucking killing it.
And he's surfed the Mentawais waves in Indo. He goes down to Panama and surfs. But that day, like that's one of the best days I ever lived, because we got to when we were
best
done.
days you ever lived.
From what me personally.
Damn.
Like and when we were done, I knew some of the lifeguards on the beach that day, but they weren't able to give us a ride back up. But I'm so glad they weren't, because we ended up taking a toe strap with us, and myself and Alex put that toe strap around our waist, and we put it around the front of the wheelchair, and Micah was behind us pushing, and then we just charioted up the hill.
And he was just in the back.
He's chilling on the wheelchair with all the boards on top of him, and we're pushing. And that was like, if ever there's any time in my life that I get down where I'm feeling sorry for myself, I'll always go back to that. And it's
the homies. But that's a camaraderie thing, bro. That's a brother thing.
And those are some of the finest people that I ever had the chance to hang out with. That's what's good. And for those guys and for that organization, it's onemorewave.net. You can go donate. Whatever you donate goes towards surfboards for veterans. Whatever their problem, each board is tailored to that veteran, whatever they want on the board,
art,
whatever art, some of them have their squadrons, some of them have their buddies' names that they've lost.
That's what's good.
Some of one of the guys has ALS, and he wrote letters to his kids and put those in the glass of the board.
Fuck yeah!
Mad
respect, G. Mad respect.
And they also have a lot of really good swag too. They have a lot of hats. They have sunglasses, they have shirts. So it's even if you go buy gear, all the proceeds go towards being able for this.
It's giving back, yo. It's
totally giving back.
Yo,
and 100% of the proceeds go.
I fuck with that hard.
Totally.
Because, is that the hat right there?
That's the hat.
Dude, the hat's G. It's a camel hat right there. Yeah, I'll fuck with that.
So it's got a trident on it. So
the trident, yeah. Dude, that's I fucking love America, straight up, son. I'm not.
Oh, yeah.
Politically, I'm not left, right. I'm not none of that.
And
I just love where I'm born. Dude, I'm wearing a U.S.
men's
national soccer jersey right now. It says USA on the back. It's goddamn right. That's what it is, yo.
Yeah.
We might suck and we can't play
real.
We might not be the best, but god damn it, it's USA all day. You know what I'm saying?
But we don't give up.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And I feel like the veterans nowadays aren't getting as much love because they think
they don't get near enough.
They think because you're supporting the government that it's bro, they love the country.
Well, and they volunteered.
Yeah,
you got to remember,
it's a volunteer program, bro.
Yeah.
In Korea, it's mandatory.
Right. In Israel, it's mandatory.
You gotta fucking join. In Finland, it's mandatory.
Yeah.
In the United States, it's fucking volunteer.
Yeah.
And I don't give a fuck what side you're on. Those people are out there thinking they're fighting for us, thinking yo, this is what we need to do, and we're protecting where we get to live this way of life.
Yeah,
bro, life is not easy as it is in San Diego compared to if you're in the Gaza Strip or whatever, or in Rwanda when there's mass genocide or whatever, some fucking fucked up country. We live in chilling out here, bro.
And then some people, and the thing is too, it's in Steve Earle's song. Copperhead Road, he talks about the verse is I did 2 tours of duty in Vietnam, and it talks about them about when they were drafting people and things, and that they were there's a line that says, well, they pick white trash first around here anyways, and it's literally for some people, however they grew up in rural America, that's their only way out is to join the military.
Yeah,
so for some people it's a way out, for some people it's a call of duty. like after 9/11, that's how like a lot of our friends were just like, you know what, like whatever I had going on, I'm going to put that aside and I'm going to go fight for my country.
Well, it shows you,
because we got sucker punched, you know.
Bro, it shows that we're a fucking country,
right?
On the real, no matter if you're in bumfuck nowhere, Indiana or Kentucky,
right?
Or if you're in fucking LA or San Diego or California, bro, we're still the United States, bitch, and we coming together.
Well, and we still need to remember that when those guys come home, we can't forget about them, and that they need us, you know, whether it be for ocean therapy, for they're going, you know, for whatever it is that they need help to get through, whatever emotional, physical, mental baggage they may have brought back with them from war. Like, we have to be there for them. Like, we can't throw them to the side.
Bro, it's mad love.
Yeah.
I wear anything that says USA. When I went to, you know what's tight? When I went to Tennessee for the first time, we went out to Lynchburg. We went to Jack Daniels and went to go visit that shit. Oh. I didn't even drink there, bro.
It's a dry county, isn't it?
Well, no, you can drink at Jack Daniels, but I was so hungover from the night before from drinking so much whiskey that even the smell of whiskey almost made me throw up. Sure. So I couldn't drink at the tasting.
That's sad.
I know. But we went to the Jack Daniels store. And I was looking around, and there was like, it's like 3 stories or 2 stories or something.
Yeah.
And I was walking around. I'm like looking around, and there's some fucking, like, I guess what you could say. I'm sorry for anybody who's listening. It's like some hillbilly shit. Yeah. But then, I mean, that's fine. I don't give a fuck. I mean, that's still United States, and I fuck with anything United States. Sure. It's just a different part.
Yeah.
And that's all it is. But then I seen this Jack Daniels shirt that I wear to this day. And it says just Jack Daniels, and then it has the American flag going down, but it's in black and white. Mm-hmm. But you have the stars, and then it has the flag, the stripes. Mm-hmm. And I was like, "Yep, that's what I'm wearing, son. That's my shirt."
Yeah,
and
because it looked like Raider Nation,
dude. Not even. I fucking saw the American flag and Jack Daniels, and I'm like, "God damn it, that's an American shirt if I've ever seen one."
That's Lynchburg.
I don't give a fuck. Yo, where'd you buy that shirt? Lynchburg, Tennessee, son. America.
But that's what? Like, to add to that point, like a lot of people that I've met in Southern California that have never left Southern California, I'm like, get out of here, go see what else is out there, and you'll see how fortunate you are to like.
Dude, but the country is sick though, bro.
Oh, it's amazing.
If you go to like the middle of fucking bumfuck nowhere, Texas, where you could still smoke in the bars, bro. When I used to smoke cigarettes,
yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I've smoked cigarettes still to this day. I'll smoke like one every now and then. But I'm not gonna lie. I fucking run marathons, but I'll fucking go smoke a cigarette.
All good.
I don't give a fuck. But like in the middle of Texas, bro, you walk in and this was like 2012, like some shit. This is not even that long ago. Yeah. They're like smoking, not smoking. I was all what?
I mean, do you remember when you could smoke in the malls?
Bro, nah. What? Yeah. I don't remember that. Okay, that must be some Indiana shit. Oh, yeah. But like, bro, I legit remember walking to this restaurant in Texas in the middle of nowhere, and they said that smoking, not smoking, and like, wait, legit, the whole group that I was with, we were skaters, we were on tour, and they fucking were like, oh, non-smoking, so they went to go eat. I was like, yo, I'm gonna take a coffee. I'll take it right there at the bar. I'm gonna go smoking, and I fucking took my pack of cigarettes out, and I was like, yeah, right here. And they brought my coffee, and they gave me an ashtray, and I fucking smoked a cigarette indoors, drinking a cup of coffee. Yeah. And for me, that was like, yo, this is kind of tight.
It's like a blast from the past.
Yo, I was about it.
Well, I mean, I smoked a pack a day from when I was 19 till I was 23.
Shut the fuck up. No, you did not.
I did. Oh, yeah.
A pack a day?
Oh, yeah. Dude, I used to be really unhealthy. Like, there was one point where I weighed almost 60 pounds more than I weigh right now. Like,
no.
Oh, yeah.
I don't believe that for a second.
Oh, yeah.
Are you serious?
Serious. Like, that's how I have
for
a lot of
people who can't see Andy, he's like in really, really good shape. He's like very muscular.
I have a lot of empathy towards people who have weight battles, like just because I've gone through all that stuff.
Dude, I used to be a fat kid, bro, for a lot of my life.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Well, and a lot of it had to do with like drinking, smoking cigarettes, pack a day, just like smoking weed, just not exercising, bartending.
A pack a day.
Pack a day, yeah. But you could smoke in the bars back then too. Like, so we'd be inside, and I mean, think about people who didn't smoke back then who were in those bars. They were just getting just as much. But they're getting just as much secondhand.
Is that worse though? Almost because you're just inhaling the toxins.
Right. So it's one of those things where I look back on it now and I wouldn't change my life for anything, you know, or any of the experiences that I've had, because I've gained a lot of empathy for people who are in a lot of positions where I may have been in that position in the past, where either you're struggling with weight or you're struggling with addiction. And that shit is not easy.
No,
you know, it's not at all. And it can take a hold of your life, and it can change the outcome of your life. And it's, I mean, it's we've come a long way, I guess I should say, just as far as, and it's for me, it's a lot better living on the West Coast, because you have a lot more opportunity and there's more healthy choices, and there's people that can show you the way, versus, if you're in a place where everybody's just okay with being okay, everybody smokes, everybody drinks, everybody kind of does the same thing. They're keeping up with the Joneses, you know, as whether it just be like, you've never left the town that you grew up in. You're the big fish in the small town. You don't really grow. You don't grow. You know, you don't grow as you don't. It's not necessarily conducive for growth. You know, and that's why I try to tell people, like, get out there, travel, go see other people that aren't like you, gain empathy for people that are not in the same situation and position as you. And the word empathy has been a big word for me for the last few years, because
it's a big word for me too.
I always thought it was the opposite of sympathy, where it's like, oh, I feel for that person, you know, like sympathy is like, I'm sympathetic towards your cause. Well, I always thought that like empathy was like, oh, I'm not, you know. Actually, antipathy is the opposite of sympathy. Empathy is like putting yourself in that person's shoes.
Yeah,
and
you understand. Yeah, you
Right.
understand what they're going through,
Right.
and it's like being. It is kind of like being sympathetic towards them and understanding
them. And that's a big thing, where it's, you know, we gotta, we really gotta think about that. Like, shout out to my friend Brooks Howard. We were just talking about that earlier. He's definitely one of my brothers here in San Diego. Mm-hmm. And we're able to sit there and kind of, like, we got differing opinions on some things, but it's like, we're the first two people that are able to admit that, like, we got to be able to talk to each other. Just like the whole thing with like Ellen sitting next to George Bush.
Bro, I literally was just thinking about that. I was so
like,
happy that Ellen actually came out and was like, dude, I have friends who don't see the same views as me.
Exactly.
We don't let this divide us.
Mm-hmm.
I was sitting here and I was like, yo, on the fucking real, thank God she said that, because everybody's so divided, bro. Like, fuck all this divided shit, bro. What I'm talking about, Tennessee, and when we go, like, fuck yeah, America, son, all day. I might be born and raised California, but god damn it, I've been to Tennessee and I've been to those areas, and I fuck with everybody out there, because we United States, bitch. That's what it is.
That's right.
Fuck everybody else. No, I'm just kidding. No. I'm just kidding. USA, motherfucker. No.
Shout out Thorne kicking in.
No, I'm just kidding. But on the real, like, hey, we might be different states, but I fuck with everybody in our country.
But we gotta be able, we gotta be able to find common ground on some things.
Straight up, bro. You know? Fuck it. Like,
and we're not gonna, like, and that's, you know, when I go home to Indiana, like, I lean left, and most of the people there lean right. You 100%. Know, but it's like, that's the thing where it's like, we don't have to sit there and dwell on the things that we don't agree on. You know, like, there's other things we can talk about that we do agree on, because at the end of the day, the only thing that's going to change those stances that you have, like, we're not going to get into arguments and change each other's minds.
Yeah, bro.
Your vote is going to count.
Yeah, go speak. Like, go fucking vote. Go fucking get out there.
And you don't have to talk about who you vote for with anybody. And there's some subjects that are pretty contentious with certain people. Let's just kind of steer away from those. Bro. And that's, you know, that's another thing that I go back to with jiu-jitsu, where it's like, it's been a very humbling experience with my ego and stuff, where it's like, it's okay. You know, like I've been in situations where it's like, I might have had to use my jiu-jitsu against somebody who was like really riled up, but it's like, you use your words instead. You talk them down, because to use your jiu-jitsu is a very serious thing. And you would rather, like, be able to just be like, you know what, man, I don't have my ego anymore. Like, it's, if you got a drunk person in front of you who's popping off, no matter what they're saying, if it's just verbal threats or things like that, that's all it is words, you know? And it's the same thing with like
just
talking
huffing
politics.
puffing.
Yeah, it's talking politics with someone. It's like, all right, man, like,
dude, talking politics is so volatile right now.
Can be.
It really.
It can be.
Bro, that's why I don't fuck with it, dude. Today specifically, a customer, I guess you will, a regular came up to me. It was talking to me about something, and he like brought up Trump. Instantly, bro, it's like I'm roasting. Like, the fact that I'm actually talking to you right now is one thing. The fact that like you're gonna talk to me about politics, like I told him straight up, like immediately, like, bro, I don't do that. I don't know anything about it. I don't want to fuck with it. I
know everything.
Please.
I know way too much.
See,
like
like,
but
bro,
for me, it's like I like to know what's going on. And I don't sit there and I'm not gonna hate on people who have the beliefs that they have, because that's where empathy comes in.
But this is what I'm talking about earlier. Like, bro, I feel like I'm running out of time. Why do I have to worry about what's going on in the fucking country about some fools getting impeached?
It matters.
Compared to like,
but
if I feel like I'm personally running out of time.
Today was a big thing with
today specifically.
Today specifically was a big thing for some of our allies. That, not to get deep into it by any means, but like,
tell me,
we pulled U.S. troops out of northern Syria who were working along with these people called the Kurds from an area that it's an ethnic group that helped us defeat the ISIS caliphate. So like ISIS is, the Islamic State.
Yeah.
These guys are holding thousands of ISIS prisoners, pretty much for our behalf and all of our allies' behalf in Europe, because a lot of the terror attacks happen because of that. The current administration, the current president of the United States just pulled all our troops out and let the Turks come in and start bombing them, because the Turks consider them enemies.
Is this a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a bad thing. In my eyes, personally, it's a bad thing, because the USA has worked alongside these people to get rid of the Islamic State, and right now we're pulling all our people out so that they can be killed. So
who's fighting who?
Well, it's like there's like 7 different groups fighting there, but like the move that the U.S. pulled was good for the Syrian president Bashar al-Assad. It was good for Vladimir Putin and Russia, because they have bases in Syria and they have interest there. And then it was good for Turkey. So, but the people that have helped us get rid of our threat were essentially leaving behind to kind of get murdered.
Whoa.
Yeah. So it's not like I don't want to bring this up, for anything more than a subjective thing, or whatever I feel about it doesn't matter. Whatever you feel about it doesn't matter. But
dude, I don't even know anything about it, so I'm not even about to speak on it.
But those are the things where it's like when I go, when I go home, like people have different beliefs than I do, and it's okay.
Well, I mean, like, if you're saying if that's how people get out of where you're from, and they have to fucking join the military, then obviously the military, would you CNN or Fox or whatever they're watching,
whatever you like whatever you wake up to or go to bed to, your source, and like we said, this is a really polar time in our times.
It really
is. But we need to be able to talk to each other,
bro. And because at the end of the day, we're all one, bro. Like, right.
Like we need to be able to get along, and it's
the government doesn't represent the people. I mean, well, it does. I actually take that back. It actually really should.
It should, but it doesn't.
But it doesn't. That's what I meant to say. Is because, bro, I fuck with the Trump I'll fuck with the not administration, but I fuck with people who support Trump.
Sure.
And because they know me and we fuck with each other.
Yeah.
That's fine, bro. Like, I don't give a fuck.
Whatever situation they're in their life, he may have done some things that have been really beneficial to him. Like we have friends that work in U.S. Steel.
Yeah.
Like
we have friends who are fucking Marines. A lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah, and in the Navy, and it's
they have to support the president.
Well, he's their boss.
Yeah.
So, and then
and they're amazing humans. They are like some of my favorite people.
Totally.
Like, honest to God.
Yeah. And I also have friends who are illegal immigrants.
Yeah, me too.
So
I have a lot of friends who are legal immigrants.
So it's like we toe both sides of the line, and we have to be able to like understand that there's going to be people who have never seen what we've seen, who have had the relationships that we've had with certain people who may be legal, who may be illegal, who may go off to war and don't make it back or come back with demons.
100%, bro.
They may have not have ever had those interactions to help shape themselves as a person and round themselves out as a person. Because I'll tell you what, I'm definitely not the same person I was when I left Indiana.
Nah, hell no.
You know what I mean? Where it's like I've gained so much respect, so much empathy for others around me who aren't like me, who don't look like me, who don't think like me, who have different jobs than me, who act different than me.
Bro, I used to have a homie. I'm not gonna say his name because he's currently trying to get his citizenship, which is perfect. Yeah. Like, yo, he told me when I seen him, and I was like, "Fuck yeah."
Is he marrying somebody?
Nah, he's already married. He's already married, but he had to go through it like a year-long process, and they have their interview. It's all set up. He's about to go through his thing. Yeah, he's a G. I met his wife. She's amazing. She's like just the nicest lady ever. Yeah. He was telling me though, bro. Like, I mean, not telling me, but when we were growing up, when we were like 19, 17 years old, this is my boy up until I left where I was living at the time, when I was like in my early 20s. And dude, I remember getting pulled over or going skating, right, or whatever, and he would straight up just give a fake name. Yeah. Like, yo, that's what he would give his fake name, and I would sit there and watch it, and it'd just be hella scared. Like, oh yeah, dude, if this fool honestly gets
aiding and abetting,
dude. Well, it's not even. It's like if this dude gets caught, then it's like, yo, I'm harboring this dude, but at the same time, he's my G. Like, he's my boy. Right. This dude, like, he came from a really hard life. Yeah. And he was an illegal. And then when he got here, he got into gangbanging life. And like when the gangbanging life happened, but he was my G. Right. And at one point, he's living in my house, and I'm telling him like, yo, G, if you don't bang, you can live in my house. Right. That's the only thing. You live rent free, G. Like, I don't give a fuck. You eat my food. You fucking stay on my couch. Right. Whatever. Pull out bed. Just one rule. No banging. Right. No jacking fools for chains. No doing this. Right. No doing that.
You can bang chicks. Just don't do gangbanging. Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, we never crossed that path, but like, I get maybe he probably would be cool to
drop on the couch.
Yeah. But I mean, that's a whole nother topic. Yo, because honestly, at the same time, I mean, they probably could have used my bed. Like, yo, whatever, G. I don't give a fuck.
You're a true homie.
Back in the day, Kano was like, yo, go ahead, G. Yeah. They ain't no shit.
My people.
My peeps. Yeah. They're my G's. That's what it is.
Do as I do, not as I say.
Dude, but I remember just being like in these situations where we'd be with the cops. And, dude, there was one moment, like, this is not like a by any means trying to brag about this story, but there was one moment, like, a lot of those fires start in the canyons. Right. One fire particularly started years later, pretty much the same way. It was like in Malibu Canyon. Yeah. We were in Malibu Canyon. We were with these kids from Portland, like the Billups brothers and this dude Elliot Murphy, and my homie like flicked a cigarette out the window, and it was just like the butt. And a cop like flipped a bitch, came back and got us in Malibu Canyon, and then he like pulled us over, and he was like, "Do you know why I pulled you over?"
It's serious.
And he was like, we were like, "No, what happened?" He's like, "I saw you flick a cigarette out the window." He's like, "Do you know how serious that is?" Yeah. And like we were like maybe 20, right? 19 maybe, right. And we're like, "No, he's like, that could start a wildfire, this, that, and this." But it was so serious. Then more cops came. And my homie, who was an illegal, like gave a fake name, and we all knew, like, there's these kids from Portland in our car, and then it's me and my homie, and he gives a fake name, and they all like looked and were like, they didn't know. I already knew because I've done this before. Like, yo, he's gonna give a fake name. That's his name. If anybody asks, that's his fucking name. Like, period. And they didn't know that, and they were just kind of like, what? And it was a super awkward conversation, right. Like awkward situation. Right. But then we ended up going. Like, they let us go. Yeah. That was one of the scariest moments I'd ever had in my life. Yeah. One of them. Because it was like, dude, we could seriously all go to jail right now. Yeah. But you keep your fucking mouth shut because ain't no snitches. 6ix9ine. Mad love. I love your music. But God damn it. You're making me look bad, you little rainbow.
Oh, man. He's a meme creator.
Dude.
Oh my God,
dude, that's what I'm saying. You keep your fucking mouth shut for the homies. If they're your real homies. I mean, I don't think he had real homies, so
no.
Regardless,
he didn't. He didn't. What's the scariest situation you've ever been in?
The scariest situation?
Where it's like,
I honestly think this. Dude, I don't know. I've had a gun pulled on me a couple times.
Scary.
That's pretty scary. Having a gun pulled on you is definitely humbling.
Fucking horrifying.
It's pretty humbling. Having it happen twice was hectic.
Yeah.
I don't know, I think that, and then honestly, did you hear about when Basic got broken into and I was in there?
Was that when they stole somebody's bike or something?
Yeah, they stole Kimby's bike. Dude, it was crazy, bro. So I used to work.
Basic is an acai shop that our buddy owns in San Francisco.
Yeah, and shout out the homie.
Yeah,
he knows who he is. I don't even have to say his name. I know he keeps it like a super low profile even on Instagram.
D. Paulson.
Don't even say his name.
I'm gonna. Love that guy.
Dude, I fucking love him too. Shout out D. Paulson. Yo, my G, shout out.
That's right.
He
the whole Paulson family.
He
from DD on down.
I used to work as a bellman at JW Marriott on Post and Mason in San Francisco, downtown. So I would work 3 to 11 or something like that. 3 to 11, and then I would go to the liquor store. I go get some smokes or some weed and like roll a spliff, and then I would get some beers, and then I would walk from Post in Mason all the way over to Polk, 1958 Polk, which is where Basic is.
Yeah.
And it's like I'd get there probably like 11:30, 11:45. I'd smoke a joint, chill, drink a beer, and then Derek, I had a key to the shop because I was the manager of the shop, and I fucking would open up the shop and then fucking go upstairs, and you know how that spiral staircase?
Yeah.
They would always leave like an air bed there that I could blow up, and then I could sleep there, and then I would open up the shop on Sundays.
Gotcha.
So that's what I would do.
Yeah.
Like 6 o'clock, whatever.
Yeah. That's Ohana style.
Ohana style, straight up. And like technically, I don't think it was legal, but like this one night specifically, Kimby was like, "Yeah, like we'll leave the airbed out for you. It'd be all good." I don't know what the fuck happened, but I got there and the bed was like not blown up, and they didn't leave the pump, so it wasn't even like full.
Yeah.
And so I got up there and there was no blankets neither. It was just the bed. I was all
like, damn.
All right.
First world problem.
Dude, yeah, first world problems. Yeah. But it was it's San Francisco. It's fucking cold. So I was already bundled up like in a jacket, beanie, like long sleeve, all good. So I was like, all right, I'm just going to take my shoes off. I'm going to sleep in my clothes I'm going to wear tomorrow. Go to sleep. And if you've ever been up to Basic in San Francisco, they have that spiral staircase. They always used to have a trash can right at the top. And they would always have people go to the top, peel bananas, cut strawberries. And then you go over to they have this dolly system from the top down to the bottom floor. And you would dolly it down and the kitchen would get it. So people would never see what was going on. So
right,
there's always
like you're the prep kitchen.
Yeah, the prep kitchen in a sense, but you're in the office.
Yeah.
There was this trash can full of fucking banana peels and beer bottles, Kona longboards, specifically.
Local.
Yeah, super Hawaiian in San Francisco.
One Hawaiian.
Hey.
You want Hallie right here.
Bruh, they fucking... So I go to sleep, and I'll never forget the time, bro. 6:21. Full. This fucking... Derek would always come at 6:30. Like, you know how Derek is. Derek is very, on fucking point.
Yeah.
So
he's
I'm
a businessman.
Yeah, well, even that. I mean, I think he just has that SEAL mentality.
Yeah.
He would always show up at 6:30 on the dot, or like right before 6:29 maybe. 6:21, I legit heard a fucking kaboom, and I looked at my phone and it says 6:21, and I was like, Derek's early, and then I hear kaboom, and then I was like, what the fuck? And then I hear and then like a break and then a shatter, and it was instant. It was like boom boom.
Like we're getting robbed.
I was like, yeah. I was like, somebody's breaking in.
Yeah.
And so I stood up, and my shoes were on the other side of the cushion that I was sleeping on. Mm-hmm. And my board was downstairs. Mm-hmm. I didn't bring my board upstairs, so I was like, I'm just gonna go sleep and it'll be fine. I'll leave it down there.
Yeah.
as soon as I hear the shatter, boom, the fucking glass window, you know how big the window is there. It shatters, all the glass breaks in, and then fucking this dude, like, I don't know what dude looked like. He had all khaki on and a fucking, like, a perma-build blue hat and a hood over it. So, and he had gloves on. So I never saw what the color of the dude was.
Yeah.
He looked down the whole time, so I couldn't see shit. But, dude, it was obvious that homeboy was, like, padded up.
Yeah.
He starts like a bobbing and weaving kind of thing all the way over to basically where the spiral staircase is. Whoa. And I'm like looking at him doing the whole thing. He doesn't even see me. I'm just looking at him. And as soon as he got underneath the stairs, he was just I was just like, what am I gonna do? What the fuck am I gonna do? Drop that trash can on him. Well, dude, I was like, I have to be loud. I was like, hey, motherfucker. Like, what's up, bitch? Like, yo, what's good, motherfucker? I see you. I probably threw out some N-bombs. I'm not going to lie. You know, just like talking mad shit.
He was
like,
from India.
Yeah. I was just like, what's up, motherfucker? Like, yo, what's good? And
it's like scaring the bear.
Nothing. And he didn't move. And then the full fucking bolted. And so I grabbed that fucking bolt, like that fucking bucket of beer like Kona longboards and fucking banana peels. And I threw it as hard as I could. And fucking it like missed him, and he breaks out the door. He has Kimby's bike in his hand, in full fucking like that shit just busted on the ground. And I fucking jumped over the bed, grabbed my shoes, put them back on, jumped down the stairs, go into the kitchen, grab my board, like fucking glasses everywhere, but I have my shoes on, so I'm like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Boom, kick the door open, run out to the stairs, and there's this fucking old Chinese man, like just sitting on the corner, like not sitting, but he's standing there. And I'm like, yo, man, where the fuck? Where did he go? Where did he go? I was like, running in the middle of the street, bro. It's 6. By this point, it's probably like 6:26.
Yeah.
You know, it was like that fast. It was like 5 minutes. I'm like, where did they go? Where did there? It was there. And I was like, fuck, man. Like, it ain't doing nothing for me, man. Like,
yeah. But if it's just a bicycle,
bro,
it's like,
well, it was just a bicycle, but they were like trying to break in, you know?
Oh, yeah. But the fact you scared him off was the big thing.
Well, dude, so I immediately grab my phone. I call Kimby. No answer. Call Derek. No answer. Call Kimby back. Kimby answers. Well, I called 911. I called 911 first, actually. Sorry. I called 911 first. Yo, we just been robbed, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Yo, 1958 Polk Street, San Francisco. And they're like, yo, we'll be there 2 minutes. All right, cool. Call Kimby. Nothing, no answer. Call Derek. No answer. Call Kimby again. Kimby answered, hello? Kimby, we just got broken into the shop. Where the fuck is Derek? She's like, what? I was like, I repeated myself. And she's like, and as soon as she said it, she's like, Derek's on the way out. Dude, bro, Derek was fucking running. Like, as soon as the cops pulled up, like, which way? I was like, I fucking think they went that way, bro. And then fucking they take off. And I see Derek come around the corner, no shirt on, no shoes or socks, nothing, just barefoot, pants on, and his big ass beard, bald head. And he's like, "What's up? What's up?" And I was just like, "Oh, that motherfucker!"
These guys are built like brick shit houses, dude, too, man.
6:30 in the morning. I'm like, fucking raging, bro.
Yeah.
I was so lit up, and then he came in and he was like, what happened with the bananas and the beer cans?
You're like, that's my bad.
I was like, that was my bad, bro. I'm sorry I broke the trash can. I tried to hit him.
It's thought that counts.
Bro. And Kahinu was out there.
Yeah.
Kahinu came by the shop. Dude,
shout out Kahinu.
Shout out Kahinu. He fucking came to the shop and he's just like, you okay? I'm like, bro, I'm fine. Like, I'm just pissed off. This motherfucker got away. Like, they're like, bro, you just saved the shop from getting like all the grinders taken, all the Vitamixes, all the money in the reg. Like, they're like, you're fine. They just got the bike. I was like, I'm fucking so heated. Dude, right now. Amping. Like, hard.
Amping.
But we had to close that day. But that was probably the scariest thing I'd ever like really been face to face, because I remember I called Leslie afterwards.
Yeah.
She was living down here. And I told her what happened. And she's like, the first thing she said to me was like, what if you had a gun? Like, you didn't think you just charged? And I was like,
you just charge.
I just charged.
You just do. That's
you
who
don't,
you are.
like, this is the homie spot. Like, you're going to fuck with the homies? Like, nah, fool, you're going down.
You're fucking with the village.
It doesn't matter. You got a gun. Fuck it. Let's go.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
You got a trash can full of bananas and beer cans.
Yo, let's go, G. Like, yo, you're gonna said.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll give a fuck. But that was. I mean, I think as far as like a personal one-on-one, that might have been one of the scariest. I mean, like fights is fine. Squaring up with somebody, that's fine. Like I'm not scared about that.
Yeah.
But that unknown, like somebody breaking in so violently,
Right.
That was a heavy one.
That sounds pretty crazy.
What about you?
Probably. Well, I know what it is. And this is what kind of shaped me as a person. But it was me and two buddies ended up seeing somebody wreck a car and had to pull them out of it when it was on fire. Yeah.
Heavy.
Where
were you?
So I was in school. I was at Purdue in flight school, not doing good, lying to my parents about my grades. That was when I was super overweight, just in a bad spot in my life. And growing up in Indiana, like Indiana University and Purdue University are rivals, but we had friends where we grew up that went to both schools. So we would always, me and a couple buddies would always leave Purdue and go down to IU to party. Tons of beautiful girls down there. And
holla.
Oh my God, dude. Just like Purdue is not like that. It's just like an ag school, an engineering school. So it's like just the pretty girls are all down in Bloomington at IU. So we were down there partying one weekend and we were coming back and we were coming north on Highway 37, which is like a 4-lane highway, 2 north, 2 south. But where we were, there was a frontage road off to the side. And I happened to be like, I had just rolled this like hog leg of a joint.
Yes. Yes.
And I was putting the lighter to it and end up like looking up and looking over at this frontage road and see this lady overcorrect. And she went off the road and hit this tree sideways. Whoa. And so it was
you watched that happen.
Watched it happen. And I looked up, I was like, guys, dude, we got to go over there. Like, we got to make sure everything's okay. And they're like,
thank God you saw that.
Well, and we had to make 2 U-turns on the highway, like illegal U-turns. And then we go over there and end up following a cement truck in. And the cement trucks in the Midwest, like, they're not necessarily like the cab of the truck is in the front and the engine is in the back. So like where the concrete comes out is actually in the front, not in the back. On the West Coast, it's kind of opposite. It's like the engine's in the front and you got the truck like a normal truck. But on that day where it's like we followed this truck in and it's me, my buddy Tricky Rick, and my buddy Brett Jones. And we hop out of the car. At that time, there's smoke coming out from under the car and we're just like, oh, fuck.
It might blow up at any second.
Yeah. So I got 911 on the phone. I throw the phone to my buddy Rick. I go up and I start banging on the window of the car, and this lady's all passed out, slumped over. I'm trying to kick the window out, and at that time, Jonesy had grabbed the hose off the front of the cement truck, and he was spraying my legs because there was flames coming out from under the car.
Fuck.
And the lady came to. She rolled her window down. She was super hysterical, and I climbed in through her passenger window, and I'm not tall. I'm short. I'm 5'5". So I wasn't able to like keep my feet on the ground as I climbed under her belt, but Jonesy was able to see through the front of the windshield that the whole back seat was on fire.
Fucking heavy.
So I just bear hugged this lady and pulled her out, and we got her like 15 yards away from the car, and like 10 seconds later, like the whole thing was like up. It was like tires popping, windows popping, gone. And at that point we pulled her like 60 yards away from the car, and she was all hysterical. I'm just like, dude, it's all good. Like, you're okay, you know. And like the news ended up showing up and everything else, but it was just one of those things where like the cops showed up, so they're like, what happened? And we kind of told them, and they're like, dude, that's heavy.
It was like, dude, I was rolling this sick ass joint.
Yeah. Well, dude, I had that thing for the ride home, which thank God, because like we all needed it, because it was like, you know, like the adrenaline you had from that break-in, it's like we had that as well. But and the crazy thing in our situation is if everybody had to act the way they acted, that lady wasn't gonna live. Like she wasn't. Yeah, bro.
She wasn't, that's what I mean. Thank God you were there, G.
We weren't. We would have watched someone die in a car versus. In that moment, it's also changed my life, where it was like I wasn't necessarily afraid of dying anymore, because it's like we were all so close that day. We all could have died, and we got interviewed by the paper, like the local paper, and that was one of the things where it was like we all accepted the fact without signing off that we were all going to get her out or we were all going to die. Like,
well,
that's how it was.
Do you think something took over where it wasn't even about life or death? You were like, yo, we see this fucking lady, like we need to help her out.
That's what it was.
Fuck everything else. That's all it is.
Yeah,
And
that was the only
ask you these questions.
only task at hand.
Yeah, exactly.
And even the cement truck driver, like he had come over with like these chutes off the cement truck to like break the window, but she had come to and rolled it down. And like he helped grab her leg, and some other dude who was there who dipped before the cops got there because he probably had warrant out or something. Like he had even pulled over to help. But it was just the whole like collective effort of everybody was just like working simultaneously to help this one person who was in dire
need of assistance.
Because she was within probably 5 seconds of dying.
Dude, that's fucking legit, bro.
But that also like helped. And that happened to me when I was in one of my worst moments in my life. Like just as far as like one of the worst low points that I've ever had. Just as far as like being overweight, being super lack of self-confidence, flunking out of school, just all this shit happening at once. They say when it rains, it pours. It does. But
yeah,
then, and it took a while, and it took years. Like I was still in college. I remember going to flight training the next morning, and my flight instructor was like, "Yo, man," he's like, "Nice job." I was like, "What?" He goes, "We saw you on the news."
That's what's good.
That's
what's tight.
But it took until like a few years after that to be like, when I was still like had flunked out of school, was just like drinking too much, just doing drugs and this and that, where it was like, look, man, like you're not meant to live this life. You know, it's like it's like life is meant to be more, and quit living like a selfish existence for yourself and start to, you know, really think about like the reason you were put here, you know, whether it be playing music for others to lift them up or to help people who are less fortunate. Or
well, do you think you play music to make people feel better, or do you play music because it's like what you were born to do?
I love the fact that I am just a messenger. Like
that's
music,
what you really think?
The music is the music.
All right.
And some people, like, you know how it is when you hear a certain song and it takes you back to where you were when you heard it, or at that point in your life, where it's like, I'm merely the messenger to bring with songs that aren't mine, you know.
Well,
but songs that are mine are like, I try to write them in the fact that like I can write songs that will put people maybe in a certain like mind frame of where I was at that time, that they can relate to.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep. Well, that's the thing. Is that there's a song right now that I'm listening to. It's by BJ the Chicago Kid. Mm-hmm. It's called Feel the Vibe. I think it's called Feel the Vibe. But the whole song is about him going back to see his family. Mm-hmm. Essentially, it's with him featuring Anderson .Paak. It's like, come on in, close the door, and feel the vibe. Like, yo, he's I got my chicken collard greens, macaroni on the side. Like, kind of like, yo,
2 scoops.
Yeah. The thing about it is like it's an African American culture, right?
Right.
But when I listen to it, I relate it to my Mexican culture and my going to my grandma's house, and I imagine it'd be like tamale salsa and dude, you know, and tortillas. Christmas, dude, let's make tamales. Like yo, for me, I'm a tamale guy. I know there's other Mexicans out there that like guisados and do whatever.
I'm not, and I am a tamale guy.
I'm a fucking tamale guy, and with my family, like yo, we fucking have the salsa that grandma made. We got tamales. We got fucking whatever else is there.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it was specifically within the last couple months, I've realized how much I need my family and how much I love them and my cousins specifically. Totally. Shout out all my cousins, Cassie, Danny, Morgan, fucking Tomito, all them, fucking Elizabeth, Edwin, little Mateo, fucking Orlandito, all my cousins. They're they're the shit. And they're the reason, like when I heard that song, it made me realize how much I miss them, how much like being away from them kind of sucks. Yeah. And it wasn't until I'm 33 years old when I really, really realized this, because like, in a sense, I almost take it for granted, but like I see my grandmother and I see how she brings everybody together, and I've seen my cousins grow up, and I hear this song, bro, and it just like it takes me there, and it fucking makes me realize how much I love every single one of them. Yeah. And like, dude, I can't wait till Thanksgiving. I can't wait till Christmas. Like, I feel that music, and like, yeah, sure, it's about their African American culture, but like, yo, you can relate it to exactly the Mexican culture, and
it transcends
barriers, bro.
Yeah,
and that shit for me is like God damn it. I love music, bro.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
It does not matter.
And like, personally, I feel very fortunate to be able to, like I said, be the messenger. Like, I don't necessarily think that I'm any better, any worse than anyone else, or whatever profession they do. This happens to be the profession that I've been fortunate enough to be able to do. And I know that certain songs will tug at certain people's heartstrings. Sometimes I've left people crying before, where it's like, I'm so sorry, but they're like, no, it's like, it's not you. You know, it's the song, or this is where it took me. Or maybe a certain song that I wrote took someone to a certain place where they had, but they can relate to the words. And that's why I always find myself to be the luckiest person in the room. Because like, literally, like, I get to do something that I love. And it's like, what other kind of jobs out there that you know, that get to do that? And speaking of that, it's like, talking about Jeremy Miller, my buddy, the keys player and my producer. He always says that he's like, we don't get paid to play music, we get paid to wind chords. The music is what we do because we love it.
There you go.
You know, and it's like setting up and tearing down is what you get paid for. But when you're actually playing music, that's the
vibe,
that's
right
for
there.
you.
Yeah, that's
for you. You know, and that's the closest thing to the truth that I could ever say. You know, because it's literally like, I'm so fortunate to get to be able to just to practice and play instruments, and people respond to it, and people can relate to it as well. And that I've been aware enough to see that, and to know how fortunate enough I am to get to continue that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, dude, we just did 2.5 hours.
What?
Dude, yeah. You are hands down the longest podcast I've ever done in my entire life.
I hope you guys did not get bored.
Dude, nah, it's legit as fuck. But let's tell the people, we'll end it right there.
Yeah.
And tell the people where they can find you.
AndyMausermusic.com is where I usually keep a normal schedule. If you want to find videos and
to book my man,
just to book, you can go to andrewmauser@gmail.com. As far as my email, if you want to reach out, Andy Mauser Music, it's Mauser music, at Andy Mauser Music at
Instagram.
On Instagram.
On Instagram. Yeah, slide in that DM.
That's right. Yeah, slide on in. And then just cruise out, say hello.
Yes.
Please do. I'm on Facebook as well. I don't really use that because I hate fighting the algorithms as far as like.
Where's your next show? When is your next show?
The next, let me see here. I've got a couple this weekend that are, like, I'm playing one of the highlight things this weekend, but as far as next public shows are going to be, I should know this a little better than I do. Oceana Coastal Kitchen, which is at the Catamaran, is on October 17th, 6 to 9 p.m. So if you guys are in San Diego, please cruise out to that. It's a super good chill vibe. Playing outside on Mission Bay, which is so rad.
Chill.
Saturday, October 19th, I play at Negociant Winery, which is right up the street from where we're at right now.
Okay.
It's on...
in North Park?
It's in North Park on El Cajon Boulevard. So check out Negociant. It's a super chill urban winery. They actually buy grapes and then they make them there. They make their wine there. And then 26th of October, I play the Hills Pub Saturday afternoon, 2 to 5 in La Mesa. So... yeah.
All right, G.
Yeah, dude. Thanks, brother.
Yes.
Yeah.
Andy fucking Mauser. Thank you for sliding through Caffeine and Green, my
dude,
G.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Yeah.
Give me some.
All right, brother.
Yeah. Peace.